A solution to curb crime that's working in one community. The many eyes now watching out for your safety.
And we are learning more information about the two people charged with murder after leading police on a chase that turned fatal.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
We begin tonight with Uber revealing a widespread problem of sexual assault. More than 3 million Uber trips are made every day all across the country, with thousands of drivers here in Atlanta.
Uber released a new safety report with alarming statistics, and that includes hundreds of reports of rape. This report was just made public. Elwin Lopez is digging through the numbers right now for us. Elwin?
Yeah, Jeff, Jennifer, here's the most alarming number of all. Just last year, Uber says there were 235 reports of a rape that took place on a ride. That's an average of 4 a week. The data was gathered from 2017 and 2018, a total of 2.3 billion rides across the nation. The data shows a total of 464 reports of a rape during that time frame. 587 reports of attempted rape and 3,000 reports of groping. Overall, there were 5,981 reports of sexual abuse between 2017 and 2018. The 84-page report shows the alleged attackers aren't always the drivers. 45% of the reports were filed against riders, but in the case of alleged rapes, riders were the victims in 92% of the 464 reports, according to Uber. You can read the full report right now on 11alive.com. And coming up at 9, we're looking at what Uber is doing in response to this.
Wow, that is disturbing. It's just incredible. All right. Happening right now in Hall County. I-985 northbound is blocked due to this overturned tanker. This is at the mile marker 9 spot. Fire officials say that nearly 20 gallons of fuel have leaked onto the ground, but it holds a total of 9,000 gallons. The leak has been stopped. We have crews working right now to get any more information for you. Now, the other info that we have is, in the meantime, drivers are being diverted off the interstate, and we will post these updates on 11alive.com and also on the 11Alive News app.
Just 3 months after he was acquitted in a Fulton County murder, a 19-year-old is charged with murder again, this time in a deadly police chase that ended near Tyler Perry Studios in southwest Atlanta. 2 innocent people were killed when police say Margell Scott and his alleged accomplice blew through a red light and hit another car. Officers tried to stop them. LaTosha Gibbons learned today both suspects have been on officers' radar before.
Police say Margell Scott and Emmanuel Fambro both had multiple run-ins with police as juveniles. Now, at 19, they're both charged in murder in yesterday's deadly chase. Now, it started after police say they carjacked and robbed someone at gunpoint. It ended when the suspect slammed head-on into another car.
The chase and crash shut down Campbellton Road at Lee Street right as rush hour was beginning Wednesday afternoon. The suspects were in a white Jeep that was left barely recognizable after the crash. 2 innocent people in a black car were killed. Police say Margell Scott and Emmanuel Fambro tried to run, but both were arrested. Police allegedly found a gun on Fambro and another stolen gun in the Jeep. They're checking to see if those weapons are connected to other crimes. Court records show Scott has had previous run-ins with the law. In 2015, he was charged with robbery and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. In 2018, he and 2 others were charged with felony murder after a man was shot and killed during a home invasion. The trio was accused of being part of a gang. Now he's facing a new murder charge for yesterday's deadly crash.
We reached out to the Fulton County District Attorney for insight into why the other murder case against Scott fell apart. The DA says out of 34 murder cases his office has tried this year, Scott's is just one of 4 that they've lost. He went on to say they felt the defendant was guilty, but the jurors saw it differently and they respect that verdict from the jury. You can read the DA's full statement right now, including his reaction to this new charge that Scott faces on 11alive.com.
Topping tonight's speed feed, I-20 is back open after somebody hit a DeKalb County police officer, shutting down several lanes near Candler Road. Officer Joseph Raskin was taken to the hospital. He should be okay. Police say he was parked on the shoulder when another driver hit his squad car from behind. The other driver suffered minor injuries and is expected to face multiple charges. We now know the name of the driver killed in a collision with a Gwinnett County school bus. It happened yesterday near Puckett's Mill Road. Police say 80-year-old Darwin McIntyre lost control of his SUV. He slammed into a school bus He was killed. 5 students from Ivy Creek Elementary were on board the bus, but they were not hurt. Police say McIntyre may have had some kind of medical emergency. A Clayton County student now facing charges after a 14-year-old girl at Mundy Mill High School says she was put into a headlock, pulled into a bathroom, and then raped. It happened back in November. In a message sent to parents this week, the school says it's taking steps to ensure the building is clear after school and all students involved in activities are monitored.
Well, your 11Alive storm trackers today tracking those temperatures. We were milder to start this morning, down to 40 degrees, and we ended up getting up into the mid-60s with a high of 65 that happened between 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. They were even in the upper 60s in Athens today, and we had very few clouds to block out the sun. Carol SIMMONS took this picture in Atlanta a little bit earlier today at sunrise. Boy, it was absolutely a beautiful way to start the day. And on Friday, we're not going to see quite as much sunshine. The clouds moving in, and then a chance for those scattered showers, a 40% chance, so that gives us a 6 on our wazometer on that scale of 1 to an 11. So just a 6 with it kind of being gray for much of the day. And I think that's going to kind of set the tone for the weekend. We'll have clouds around on Saturday as well, but I think it'll be mostly dry. Just a 20% chance for some light drizzle. And then heading into Sunday, a little better chance for more widespread drizzle. So coming up, we'll talk about the colder, wetter changes that we're going to see at the beginning of next week.
Republican Congressman Tom Graves announced today that he will not run for re-election next year. In a letter, Graves says he is stepping away from politics to spend more time with family. He's been the representative for the 14th district governing Northwest Georgia since 2013. Before that, he served as representative for the 9th district of Northeast Georgia.
Georgia Democrats say they are not impressed with Governor Kemp's choice for the U.S. Senate, not surprisingly. The question is whether they can come up with a candidate to compete with Kelly Loeffler in the next year special election and match the funding that she has promised, $20 million toward the Senate campaign. It will be one of 2 U.S. Senate races on the ballot. 11Alive's Doug Richards takes a look at how that is starting to shake out.
Our next U.S. Senator, Kelly Loeffler.
As Kelly Loeffler was basking in Republican approval to her appointment to the U.S. Senate, Michael Thurmond was engineering a pay raise for DeKalb County first responders for a Thursday morning announcement. Now the CEO of DeKalb County, Thurmond may run against Loeffler next year.
It's not just gender or demographic, it's about policies, it's about positions, and more importantly, it's about having built a reputation of service.
In contrast to Loeffler, who has never run for office before, Thurmond was a member of the Georgia legislature before becoming state labor commissioner, before becoming DeKalb's school superintendent and county CEO.
And I believe a Democrat can win the United States Senate.
Former Governor Roy Barnes thinks a Democrat can break the Georgia GOP's hold on the U.S. Senate next year.
And I think it'd be a very competitive race. There's a lot of them out there. Whether they run, I don't know.
Aside from Thurmond, Jen Jordan is among the Democrats getting encouragement to run. She is a state senator who was out front against Georgia's heartbeat abortion law, now tied up in court. Another is Ed Tarver, a former U.S. attorney from Augusta and a former state senator. There's also Sherry Boston, the district attorney of DeKalb County. Still another is Raphael Warnock, the politically active pastor at Atlanta's landmark Ebenezer Baptist Church. Like other potential candidates, Warnock isn't anxious to discuss a race he hasn't yet decided to join. We spoke last month.
I'm honored that, so many people are talking about this possibility, but I'm really focused on doing the best work that I can do on behalf of the people I care about.
Do you think you would be a good U.S. Senator?
I think I'm trying to be the best possible CEO that DeKalb County has ever had.
And remember, this is for one of 2 U.S. Senate races to take place less than a year from now. The other will be for the seat now held by the Republican David Perdue. At least 4 Democrats have announced for that seat. You can learn more about Kelly Loeffler and her background by going to 11alive.com or the As Seen on TV section of the 11Alive news app. They were found living in squalor, born only to be bred. Now, a year later, we are checking in with the dogs rescued from a South Georgia puppy mill.
And don't forget, you can, as always, join us live when you're on the go. We are streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe and get in on the conversation in the community section. More 11Alive news in prime time coming up after the break.
A year after they were rescued from a puppy mill, these dogs are making progress. The woman arrested for keeping them in horrific conditions will be arraigned next week on 25 misdemeanor charges in one county and is facing felony charges in another. Dozens of dogs were rescued from Angela Powell's properties in South Georgia and sent to rescues across the state. Coco Cupboards took in 6 of the dogs and tells our Caitlin Ross they're all doing great.
These dogs have come so far. One of them is even training to be a service dog. But it hasn't been easy, and many of them still have a long way to go.
People want to get a dog who they can fix with love. This you don't fix with love. Love is scary because they don't know what that means.
Suzanne Aaron spends day and night with the dogs confiscated from South Georgia last year. Day by day, they're getting better.
This takes years to fix, if you can ever fix all of it. Sansa is phenomenally coming along.
Sansa has come so far in the past year. They're now training her to be a service dog for a local veteran. She wears the vest and is interacting beautifully with people. But not all of the dogs are success stories. Duncan was taken off the property in South Georgia on the same day and just can't adjust to kindness.
He doesn't want any stranger. He doesn't want affection still. It's been very, very challenging.
Coco's Cupboard has worked tirelessly with the dogs they took in. But looking at the conditions they were confiscated in, they knew this wasn't the end of the story.
When we got these Metter dogs, I knew there had to be puppies somewhere. And so one of the girls that works for me, we tracked down through the internet someone who was selling puppies with this coloring.
You got them? Okay, good.
The rescue group bought 2 dogs from a breeder identified as Angela Powell's daughter on paperwork. They spent $1,200 each on 2 puppies to make sure those dogs have a good life too. But just buying them isn't enough.
Danny, even though she's been with us since she was 8 weeks old, is still a little squirrely.
But they're not giving up on Danny or Dragon, the 2 puppies, or the 6 they saved that night from the puppy mill a year ago. They believe all of them deserve a chance.
It is amazing. And to us, it's like the ultimate success story for them.
Angela Powell will be arraigned in Montgomery County for her misdemeanor charges on December 11th. The felonies are still working their way through the court system. But if convicted, she could be facing years in prison.
Well, we're seeing those clouds around and those showers on the increase this afternoon and evening as we see high pressure kind of starting to push a little further to the east, and that's going to allow this system to move on in as we head into the next 24 hours or so, bringing in showery conditions for our Friday afternoon and for Friday evening. So that could impact Friday night football a little bit, but no storms expected, just some very light showery activity. So 65 is our high today after a morning low of 40. We should be around 57 and 39 this time of year. So temperatures definitely well above average today, but nowhere near that record high for the date. That was 75 set back in 1977. Rainfall, we are still well behind. That number keeps rising, that deficit number. We are now at 7 87/100 of an inch, almost 8 inches behind. We need the rain that is coming. And it looks like the timing's pretty good for Canathon and for the weekend. So overnight tonight, we'll see those clouds start to roll in the early morning hours. And as far as our headlines, we'll have showers moving in on Friday, mostly cloudy, mostly dry Saturday, and then that rain returns on our Sunday through Tuesday. So we'll look for a wet start to the work week next week. So here's the timing on everything. As we head into our Friday, we'll see those clouds moving in early in the morning, but mostly dry for Canathon. As we head towards the noon hour, just a few showers starting to scoot on in here. Getting into the 2 o'clock hour in the afternoon, we'll start to see the rain picking up in West Georgia. And then for the evening commute, possibly a few showers around, possibly some showers to dampen our Friday night football, but nothing widespread, nothing heavy, just light nuisance showers. Saturday, we do have the clouds around and a wedge starts to set up. So a little cooler, little drizzle at times, no big deal, mostly dry on our Saturday for the SEC championship. And then getting into Sunday, things start to change, more of an easterly flow. It'll be pretty wedgy on Sunday, so cool and drizzly for the Falcons game. And then as we head into Monday, in comes some more rain. And by Tuesday, we have some heavy rain with some possible thunderstorms. And then we may be talking about a possible wintry mix moving in through northern Alabama into northwest Georgia as we head into Tuesday, late afternoon into evening. So a bit of a wintry mix here. Notice the freezing air is still back here. So this is just going to be a bit of a mix where you see the pink and the more lavender color here. But once the freezing air moves through, it looks like the dryer is going to be moving in. So we don't expect to see any significant accumulation. Certainly nothing here in Atlanta unless things change radically. And of course, we'll let you know if that happens. So the next 7 days, we have mostly dry day for Canathon. We have a little drizzle on our Saturday, but mostly dry, just a 20% chance of drizzle, 40% chance for some light rain on Sunday and Monday. And then Tuesday, the rain gets heavier, and then we have some very cold air moving in right behind that frontal system for the middle of next week.
The Speaker of the House directs her colleagues to begin drafting articles of impeachment against the president. We're breaking down what this means and what's ahead next.
And your week making a difference. A reminder, the 11Alive Canathon is tomorrow. We will be collecting canned goods to help families in need. You can help us stock the food banks. We will have all of our teams across Metro Atlanta on Friday, and we will be at the Woodruff Arts Center. We'd love to see you there. We have a list of all of the locations on 11alive.com, and we will be there and all set to go tomorrow.
House Democrats are moving full steam ahead into a new phase of their inquiry into President Trump and his alleged misconduct regarding Ukraine. In a news conference this morning, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced that she has asked the House Judiciary Committee to begin drafting articles of impeachment. NBC White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us now from the White House. Kelly, good evening. Thank you so much for being with us. What points are we expecting lawmakers to outline in these articles of impeachment?
Well, Jennifer, that's one of the big questions. They will now begin the work of trying to write the specific charges that they believe they have evidence to support against the president. It could be in the area of abuse of power, obstruction of Congress. Those are some of the possibilities, but we don't yet know exactly how they will frame these articles of impeachment or how many there will be. But we do expect that come Monday, there's another hearing, and they will outline a lot of the evidence, and that should help us to have a better sense of where they think these articles of impeachment are most supported by the testimony and the evidence they've collected so far. So some question marks here, but a big day, a significant change now that Speaker Pelosi is saying it's time to move forward with impeachment.
It certainly is. So after those articles are drafted, what do we know about what comes next in the process? And do we have any idea about how quickly all of this might start happening?
Well, Republicans have been saying that the Democrats have been moving too quickly, that it's been a rush to judgment, that they're in a hurry for no particular reason. Democrats push back on that and say that they're trying to be expeditious, and they are mindful of the calendar being limited time left before lawmakers are scheduled to return to their home districts and states for the holiday season. And, of course, 2020 is at our doorstep, and that is an election year, and they'd like to get this done more quickly. So it is possible, and in fact, it's expected that Democrats will try to move and have the articles drafted and ready for votes and a vote taken before they leave Washington to go back home right before the Christmas holidays. That could be something that is pushed into the new year. That's a possibility. They have not confirmed exactly when they're ready to go, but there's a sense that they need to act now and need to act in the next couple of weeks, and so that's the expectation. Jennifer?
Kelly, President Trump has wrapped up that testy trip to London for the NATO summit. The president, for his part, has invited this process this morning on Twitter, suggesting that he's confident his Republican colleagues will stand behind him after the hearings. Does that still hold up?
Well, at this point, the president is almost accepting that the sheer numbers in the House with Democrats in control mean that if they've made a decision to go toward impeachment, that they're likely to succeed in that. And so instead of engaging in the House, he's looking ahead to the next venue, which he thinks is much more favorable because Republicans have the majority in the Senate, and you would need 2/3 of all senators to vote to remove him from office. And he believes that Republicans have been holding together, not expecting many, if any, Republicans to peel away and side with Democrats, at least as things stand right now. So ultimately, the president believes he will be acquitted. And so he's saying, get on with it if House Democrats are ready to go. Instead of this argument that they're moving too quickly, the president is saying it's almost a foregone conclusion. Let's get to the venue where he believes he can do better, and that is because Republicans would be in charge of a Senate trial. We do expect in that case that the White House might participate in a much more visible way. They have really avoided any participation in what's been happening on the House side so far. Jennifer?
All right. And we are less than a year away from 2020 and those presidential elections. Do we know what kind of impact this could have, not only on the election next fall, but also the Democratic primary?
Well, it's a big question, and there are different ways to look at it. There are those who might feel that Democrats are doing exactly what the Constitution requires of them, and it might not have a direct impact. Others say the party that brings impeachment is usually penalized by the public because many voters would like lawmakers to be working on the issues that affect their lives much more, not engaged in this political process, which impeachment inherently is a political process. So it's unclear. It also could cost the president, especially with persuadable voters or independents who would say that if he has been brought to this impeachment process and put through a trial, that he should not be reelected. So it could be a mixed bag. We don't yet know. It will also likely have some impact in the early states for Democrats because a number of senators who are running for running for the nomination of their party would also be in part of the Senate jury, and those senators who themselves would be running for their own reelection would be involved in that too. So there's likely to have plenty of election year overlap. Exactly how it turns out will certainly be seen over time. Jennifer?
A lot of unknowns. Thank you so much, Kelly. We appreciate you this evening. Remember, let 11Alive News be your guide during this impeachment process. You can download our app right now. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play.
A federal court in Atlanta will hear a case from Florida about transgender bathroom policies, and the outcome of this case could change policies for the state of Florida, Georgia, and Alabama.
And some changes are coming for those who rely on food stamps. What you need to know about the work requirement changes and how to tell if it will impact you. Georgia school districts are closely watching an Atlanta federal appeals court case that could impact students across the state. It involves whether transgender students should be allowed to choose which bathroom they use. And it focuses on a Florida student who sued after his school district refused to let him use the boys' restroom. Our Joe Hinkie was in court and spoke to that former student.
Right here, please. After a hearing in the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals today, Drew Adams posed for pictures with his mother, an attorney. In high school in Florida, Drew transitioned from female to male and began using the boys' restroom. Adams sued when the St. Johns County School District told him he could only use gender-neutral bathrooms.
Before this became an issue, nobody knew who I was. Nobody cared what bathroom I used. Most people, when they use the bathroom, don't look twice at whoever's in there with them.
Inside today's hearing, the school district's attorney, Jeffrey Slanker, asked the court to overturn a ruling allowing students to use the bathroom of the sex they identify with. The district argues that this is a case of privacy, that Adams is not a boy, and students have the right to privacy from the opposite sex in the restroom. Adams' attorney, Tara Borelli, though, calls this a discrimination case, arguing Adams is a boy, and at trial she detailed Adams' transition and showed a Florida driver's license and birth certificate saying Adams is male. Adams' attorney says that this case is about students wanting to conform to gender-separate bathrooms.
They're simply trying to be allowed to fit in as adolescents at their school, which is so important for students in that particular time of their life.
In October, Pickens County parents debated a school board proposal that was set to take effect next year, allowing transgender students to use the bathroom they identify with.
Do not This is gonna happen, so let's be standing together.
To avoid a court battle the superintendent says could bankrupt the district, Pickens County is waiting to see the outcome of Adams' case. In court today, Judge William Pryor Jr. said they are aware of the impact any opinion they write will have and have to be concerned how this affects the next case.
And because the federal appeals court covers Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, the ruling could impact school districts here in Georgia as well. The court could rule at any time in the coming weeks or months.
Smyrna police are now asking neighbors to give them access to their homes to help track down criminals. Officers are also using a new technology to find criminals in their cars, and it would seem to be working. Ron Jones has more for us tonight.
Smyrna police say good old-fashioned technology got these suspected armed robbers off the streets.
We were able to track down the machete-wielding robbers that were robbing CVS and Walgreens.
Timothy Soulsby and Vincent McClure are accused of walking into Walgreens and CVS with a machete last month demanding cash, but their getaway car apparently got them caught the next day.
We were able to put those license plates into the database to trigger an alert when they drove by a flock camera.
Flock cameras are a subscription service where plate reading cameras are secretly positioned in traffic congested areas. The collected data is secured at police headquarters. The machete robbers apparently drove right past one of the cameras.
Now this just shows you how fast the investigative process is. Once the flock cameras take a picture of the license plate on the street, it goes back to police headquarters. That information then immediately goes to the officers on the street in less than 20 or 30 seconds. Less than 20 or 30 seconds? Come on.
It's that quick, yes.
Police say they have arrested a half-dozen people involved in various crimes since the flock cameras went up about a month ago. They also launched a program called Smyrna View, where they're asking neighbors to give them access to their home security video.
Our program is completely voluntary.
If I have the video coverage, then why not share it?
Barb Allen just joined the program.
And the more people that are involved, the better off we're all going to be.
A teen seriously injured after a gun accident inside a DeKalb County home. That kicks off your speed feed tonight. Police were called to a home on Kelly's Creek Drive around 10:30 last night. They say an 18-year-old accidentally shot himself while handling a gun in one of the bedrooms. We're told 2 children were also inside that home at the time, but were not hurt. At last check, the victim was in serious condition. The GBI and FBI now investigating a hack on the city of Newnan. The city confirms people's names, dates of birth, driver's license, and social security numbers were stolen from as far back as 2010. The city will notify those affected by mail and will give them documentation confirming the breach and credit monitoring free for a year. It's set to be a busy Saturday here in Atlanta, and MARTA says it's a good idea to take advantage of their beefed-up service. The Children's Christmas Parade will shut down part of Peachtree from 10:30 to noon. Then the SEC championship game kicks off at 4. MARTA will be adding extra trains to their regular Saturday service 2 hours prior to the game. They'll also be running the streetcar from 8:15 a.m. to 1 a.m.
We're already seeing some activity around that highly anticipated SEC championship today. Volunteers from Allstate Insurance giving back to the community alongside one of college football's legends. Former Florida Gator and SEC champion Tim Tebow joined the volunteers this afternoon to build a new playground at the East Atlanta Kids Club. The organization provides under-resourced young people with after-school care. Tim Tebow spent time shoveling mulch, giving some inspirational words to his fellow volunteers. He also weighed in on the big matchup between UGA and LSU.
Without a doubt. What I'm excited about is good on good. And one of the best offenses in the SEC versus one of the best defenses in the SEC, having a chance to see that matchup, having a chance to Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase on the safeties of Georgia, J.R. Reed and LeCount, and that matchup's going to be awesome. And on the flip side, I think people are, Jake Fromm has been a lot better in big games than people give him credit for.
Tim Tebow, our favorite Gator around these here parts. Allstate also donated football gear to the Kids Club. All great. Bulldog Nation is set for that epic matchup. UGA, LSU, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Be there. A whole lot going on. Kickoff scheduled for 4 p.m. Go Dogs.
Oh, what a fantastic Thursday we had. We had high pressure and controlled temperatures in the mid-60s today in the Atlanta area. We do have a frontal system on approach, though, and that's going to bring our temperatures down a bit tomorrow, and it's going to bring in some spotty showers during the afternoon and evening. And then by Saturday, I think we'll have a mostly dry Saturday. Temperatures not as warm, several degrees cooler on Saturday afternoon. We'll likely see some spotty drizzle on Saturday, and then Sunday, a little more widespread light rain from time to time. Temperatures also starting to cool down, and then it looks like much cooler into next week, and we'll have more details on that coming up. In the meantime, we have an SEC championship to play, and it looks like the timing's pretty good for that. We will have a slight chance for a little bit of drizzle, but most of it happening after kickoff, I think, on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll have to be looking forward to the Falcons game, which, of course, is going to be on Sunday, and a little better chance and a little cooler as well. So coming up, we'll talk about the timing of the rain, when it's really going to be coming down, and when that colder air is going to make a return.
The Trump administration is moving forward with new food stamp rules, and former Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue has played a key role in pushing it through. Tonight, we're looking at the impact here on Georgia. The new policy that Perdue helped create as Secretary of Agriculture affects adults who are childless and not disabled. It limits states' ability to exempt recipients from obtaining steady employment in order to receive benefits. The USDA says it could cause nearly 700,000 people nationwide to lose benefits. Under the new rule, only areas where they have 6% unemployment could qualify for the exemptions. According to data from earlier this year, that would only include Wheeler, Telfair, and Clay counties. Able adults who do not fall under the exception would have to work 20 hours a week or do job training to continue receiving the assistance.
Metro Atlanta is filled with millions of people, each with their own stories, ideas, and history. And that history is the motivation behind a new series here on 11Alive. And of course, the Big 36, where we explore the little-known past behind some of our city's most important narratives. Tonight, we take a look at the better half, one of the most famous names in baseball. Born in Athens, Georgia in 1900, Claire Merritt's legend is forever set in the gentle rolling hills about an hour north from the sprawling suburbs of Atlanta.
Her family understood the power of beauty. Her father was an attorney, and he would take her to court with him and sit her on the front bench in the courtroom to distract the jurors while he was trying his case.
It was Claire's undeniable beauty that would eventually catch the eye of a legendary Babe Ruth. So how did this small-town Georgia girl, who at 16 already was a divorcee with a baby and $100 to her name, end up marrying New York's biggest and richest sports star? One story fields a scenario where it was the director of a play Claire was in that did the introduction. Claire's family, though, has a different take on the story.
Ty introduced her.
Ty being Hall of Famer Ty Cobb from nearby Royston, Georgia. However the introduction went, it was only months after the striking beauty and the Yankee slugger tied the knot, making Claire one of the country's biggest celebrities. Along with being a devoted wife, Claire served as the Bambino's trainer and taskmaster. According to the New York Times, she subdued his various excesses and managed to bring the family finances under control. Claire lived to see the Babe break two of baseball's most famous records, single-season home runs, and career record of 714 home runs. And this hometown Georgia girl supported Braves great Hank Aaron as he chased the Bambino's home run mark. Considered by many to be the first lady of baseball, Claire passed away October 26, 1976, in her New York City apartment filled with memorabilia, many of which was of the man she loved. I'm always struck by her story, thinking about three people, you know, within a couple of counties, really about less than a half hour away, that had such a major impact on the first half of the 20th century in Major League Baseball. Over in Royston, the Georgia Peach, Ty Cobb. Then you got the big cat, Johnny Mize in Demarest. And from White County, Jefferson, also Athens, is Claire Merritt. Those three people had such a huge impact on Major League Baseball. And they came out of grinding Southern poverty of their era. I mean, a lot of people didn't make it. A lot of people were having a hard time finding something to eat consistently, but those three changed America in a lot of ways. A new report is showing that teen tobacco use is at a startling high. Next, the new information that has doctors nationwide concerned. And don't forget, we're streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. You can subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. We have a lot more on 11Alive News in prime time after the break.
report by the CDC paints a troubling picture of rising teen tobacco use in the U.S. It reveals 1 in 4 teens have used a tobacco product within the past 30 days, and many don't believe it carries any risk. NBC's Sarah Dolliff has the story.
Whether it's smoked, vaped, or chewed, an alarming number of young people say they're using tobacco products, according to the latest National Youth Tobacco Survey released by the CDC.
We are seeing unprecedented levels of tobacco product use among our nation's youth, which is deeply troubling.
In the past month, more than 6 million middle and high school students say they've used some type of tobacco product. Of those, at least 1.6 million describe their use as frequent. 1 in 3 high school students and 1 in 8 middle school students describe themselves as current tobacco users.
We're starting to see a more dependent population on the use of these products in terms of dependency on nicotine.
For the 6th year in a row, e-cigarettes were the most commonly used product. More than half of students who tried them saying they did so because they were curious. 22% said they were attracted to the flavors.
E-cigarettes typically contain nicotine, which is not only highly addictive, but it can also harm the developing adolescent brain. And nicotine exposure can also prime the brain for addiction to other drugs.
The new survey prompting a warning from officials to teens: put out or put down tobacco products for good.
The report does offer a spot of encouraging news. Among high school and middle school tobacco users, more than half say they are seriously thinking about quitting.
Hi, meteorologist Samantha Moore and your 11Alive storm trackers. We're talking about the temperatures today. Oh my goodness, making it all the way up into the mid-60s. Temperatures unseasonably warm, running several degrees above average for this time of year. So as we head into the overnight hours, we're going to see those clouds starting to roll in, but I think we're going to be mostly dry for our Canathon. We have a 6 on the wazometer on that scale of 1 to an 11, with 11 being a perfect day, but it probably won't be too perfect. The clouds rolling in, showers starting yet, but we think we'll at least get Canathon in before the rain really starts to move in during the afternoon and evening. So mostly dry Canathon. We will see some of the light rain moving in during the afternoon and evening. It'll be a mostly dry first half of the weekend on Saturday, and then Sunday a little colder as a wedge sets up, and then a colder, wetter pattern as we head into next week as well. So this is what we're thinking as we head into our Friday. We're going to continue to see those clouds roll in, but a dry, mostly dry Canathon. This is 5 in the morning. Notice as we head into the afternoon and evening, we're going to end up seeing those showers start to scoot in here across far north Georgia and into LaGrange, possibly some showers. So maybe a few showers around, spotty showers for Friday night football. Getting into Saturday, a few clouds around as we head into our SEC championship. I think we're going to be mostly dry. We have just a slim chance for an isolated light shower or two. No big deal. It's getting interesting, though, when we get into our Sunday. So here's the light rain we may see on Friday night. This is a different model. This is the American model. It shows that light rain a little more widespread for Friday night football. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Heading into Saturday, we have the clouds and just that slim chance for a shower or two, but a better chance for rain comes in late Sunday and into Monday, as we'll see that more widespread light rain moving in, and then heavier rain on our Tuesday, overnight Monday into Tuesday, where we could see some showers and heavy storms. And then notice what happens on the backside here as we get into our Tuesday late. We have a wintry mix moving to northwest Georgia. I don't think we'll see much in the way of accumulation because you can see that cold air is well back ahead of the moisture, or so I would say behind the moisture. So we need both of them in conjunction together to really see any accumulations. But I can tell you one thing, it is going to be getting cold again as we head into next week. So on our weekend, we'll see that chance for light rain and drizzle as we head in through our Saturday and Sunday. 40% chance for that light rain to continue into Monday. And then it gets interesting on Tuesday. That's when the heavier rain moves in, and that chance for thunderstorms, a 70% chance on our Tuesday. And a lot of that could be earlier in the day and then very cold behind it. We'll look for that wintry mix on Tuesday afternoon and evening, and then cool and breezy for the middle of next week.
All right, here we go on this Thursday night. Time for the 2-minute drill, where we tell you what you need to know in sports. But first, it is, as you know, SEC Championship Week. We begin with a flashback from the 05 SEC Championship.
Shockley pulls up, goes right side, Beatty's open. Got it! Touchdown, Georgia!
The only time LSU lost in the SEC championship to Georgia, DJ Shockley had 3 total touchdowns. There was a huge blocked punt in that game that led to a score, and Georgia beat the number 3 Tigers to knock them out of the championship picture. Dog fans hoping history repeats itself come Saturday. Julio Jones practiced today in Flowery Branch ahead of Sunday's game against the Panthers. He was out on Thanksgiving with a shoulder injury. There was an interesting exchange when he was asked about it today.
I feel great. I had a little head cold early on in the week, but I'm better now.
What about the shoulder then?
Huh?
The shoulder.
Yeah, my cold, I was, Mucinex and stuff like that, try to get it out of there, but I feel better now. I'm good to go.
The old Mucinex response. Here's something that a lot of people are surprised by. Remember Colin Kaepernick's workouts at Drew High School last month? One of the receivers who worked out with Kaepernick now has a job in the National Football League. Jordan Vesey caught a few deep balls from the former San Francisco quarterback last month. He was undrafted out of Cal. He signed with the Redskins. Meanwhile, Kaepernick is not signed, as you know, and has not heard from any NFL team since that workout. He looked pretty darn good. He was throwing a deep ball very well. A surprising twist to come out of that workout, certainly. Our time is up. That's the 2-minute drill. I hope we're not over time. Jennifer, you are the timekeeper.
We'll take it either way, right? Well, a dog is found locked inside a closet inside of an abandoned home, but somehow it survived. And tonight, another chapter in what will hopefully be a happy ending for this pup. Dog found trapped inside a closet in Gwinnett County has finally found his forever home. Back in July, deputies with the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office found a dog who had somehow survived for 2 weeks inside of a closet after its owners were evicted. He was later named Osiris by the Gwinnett County Animal Shelter, and staff members say that they used treats to get the 2-year-old out of his shell and to get him to trust humans again. Well, this week, all of that hard work paid off, and Osiris was adopted by a Gwinnett County couple. Just look at the smile on his face down there. You can read Osiris's full story by heading over to 11alive.com/MyLawrencevilleNews.
That is a good story. The development of a multi-million-dollar mixed-use development near Gwinnett County's Infinite Energy Center now being postponed. Revel was scheduled to open in 2022. The live, work, play community was expected to include new restaurants, luxury apartments, and entertainment options like painted pin bowling. Who among us doesn't love painted pin bowling? I'm looking for those hands. On Tuesday, the developer, North American Properties, announced they will no longer move forward with the project. However, Gwinnett County leaders tell 11Alive there are still big plans in the works. For more on this story, visit mylawrencevillenews.com.
We've got so many things going on that this is a public-private venture. The public side is completely full speed ahead, including a expansion of our forum.
Hall also tells 11Alive there's no need for worry. Revel will still come to fruition once they secure a new developer. For more on this story, visit mylawrencevillenews.com.
A father decides to get a little cute when punishing his 15-year-old teenage daughter. We'll tell you about his social media takeover after the break. So check this out. A 15-year-old girl smuggled some boys into an all-girls sleepover, and wouldn't you know it, her parents found out. Well, naturally, she had a punishment, and they grounded her, but they gave her some options.
So you can lose your phone for a month, or you lose your phone for 2 weeks, and her father gets full control of her social media. The teen chose the latter, which turned into some Instagram posts from dad, which have gone viral.
Yeah, check out this one. This is the first from Larry Sumter, wig, attitude, and all. He used the caption, like we can we save the turtles already? And check out this other one. this caption saying, just chilling on this fine Sunday afternoon, haters gonna hate.
So it was not just Instagram that they also took over her TikTok account and even got her friends involved in all of this.
Yeah, she eventually got her phone back and her social media accounts. She posted a picture of herself as a little girl with the caption, "I'm back, sweeter than ever, and ready to make some good choices." A lot of folks talking about this punishment.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't like messing with kids. I don't like embarrassing them. I don't like fooling with them at all. I think you have to be very, very careful with kids. Yeah. I don't think, I'm sorry to be so serious about this, but as a father who has raised way too many children, two. I just think you don't fool with kids because they remember, they will hold a grudge, it will impact them. Don't embarrass them.
Seems like she was a good sport about it, though, with her coming back.
We
really don't know the ins and outs of it.
Am I being too serious?
I don't know. Maybe it's a social media digital age, and, you know, Dad got all fun and made her go viral, so now she's going to come back and be all cool. So maybe he actually did her a popularity favor.
Translation, you think I'm being unfun.
Well, I don't think you're being unfun. I got 3 daughters.
I know you do.
2 of them who were raised during the social media age. Yeah. I think that's an awesome idea. Okay. Awesome. I don't think it's torture.
All right, so maybe we're going to get Jeff to just lighten up a little bit
See,
about
you guys
the story.
all 3 of you should be fortunate that I was not your father.
I think with this story, we probably
I am a hardliner.
Have a little fun on the social. We're going to keep the fun rolling. It is almost 9 o'clock, and we have a lot coming up on 11Alive News Primetime.
All right, coming up at 9 o'clock, folks, we're looking into some scary numbers coming out of Uber's long-awaited safety report.
And a Georgia congressman is retiring. Why he says he will not run for re-election.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
All right, folks, we're going to begin tonight with Uber revealing a widespread problem of sexual assault. More than 3 million Uber trips are made every single day across the U.S. of A., and thousands of those drivers are right here in Atlanta.
Uber released a new safety report with alarming statistics that includes hundreds of reports of rape. This report was just made public. Elwin Lopez is digging through the numbers right now.
Yeah, Aisha, Ron, just last year there were 235 reports of a rape taking place during an Uber ride. That's an average of 4 a week. The data was gathered from 2017 and 2018, a total of 2.3 billion rides across the nation. The safety report shows a total of 464 reports of a rape during that time frame, 587 reports of attempted rape, and 3,000 reports of groping. Overall, we're talking about 5,981 reported sexual abuse incidents between 2017 and 2018. Now, the alleged attackers aren't always the drivers. According to the 84-page report, 45% of the reports were filed against riders. But in the case of alleged rapes, riders were the victims in 92% of the 464 reports. Uber says they have added new safety features. There's an emergency button on the app, and the company says they're rolling out a few others. One that will allow riders to verify with their driver through a secure PIN code, another to allow you to send a text to 911 operators, and even a way to report safety incidents to Uber before you finish a ride. In some countries, Uber is now testing a feature for drivers and riders to be able to record audio during their trip. We will have the full safety report on 11alive.com if you want to take a look at that, Ron.
All right, Elwin, thanks a lot. We appreciate that. Happening right now in Hall County as we speak, folks. This is Interstate 985 northbound. It's shut down because of this overturned tanker. Now, this is at mile marker 9. Fire officials say nearly 20 gallons of fuel have already leaked onto the ground. It holds about a total of 9,000 gallons. The leak has been stopped. Crews are working right now to try to right that truck before any more fuel comes out. In the meantime, drivers are being diverted off the interstate. We'll post updates on the 11Alive News app. Developing right now in Florida, where 4 are dead, including 2 suspects in a shootout after an armed robbery and police chase of a hijacked UPS truck. This is what we know. The chase ending in gunfire. This is right here on the interstate in Miramar. Along with 2 suspects, the driver of the UPS truck and an innocent bystander were killed. All of this started with an armed robbery at the Coral Gables jewelry store.
Just 3 months after he was acquitted in a Fulton County murder, a 19-year-old is charged with murder again, this time in a deadly police chase right by Tyler Perry Studios in Southwest Atlanta. 2 innocent people were killed when police say Margell Scott and his alleged accomplice blew through a red light and hit another car. Officers tried to stop them. Latasha Givens learned today both suspects have been on officers' radars before.
Police say Margell Scott and Emmanuel Fambro both had multiple run-ins with police as juveniles. Now, at 19, they're both charged in murder in yesterday's deadly chase. Now, it started after police say they carjacked and robbed someone at gunpoint. It ended when the suspect slammed head-on into another car. The chase and crash shut down Campbellton Road at Lee Street right as rush hour was beginning Wednesday afternoon. The suspects were in a white Jeep that was left barely recognizable after the crash. 2 innocent people in a black car were killed. Police say Margell Scott and Emmanuel Fambro tried to run, but both were arrested. Police allegedly found a gun on Fambro and another stolen gun in the Jeep. They're checking to see if those weapons are connected to other crimes. Court records show Scott has had previous run-ins with the law. In 2015, he was charged with robbery and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. In 2018, he and 2 others were charged with felony murder after a man was shot and killed during a home invasion. The trio was accused of being part of a gang. Now he's facing a new murder charge for yesterday's deadly crash.
We reached out to the Fulton County District Attorney for insight into why the other murder case against Scott fell apart. The DA says out of the 34 murder cases his office has tried this year, Scott's is just one of 4 that they've lost. He went on to say that they felt the defendant was guilty, but the jurors saw it differently and they respect the jury's verdict. You can read the DA's full statement, including his reaction to these new charges that Scott faces. Head to 11alive.com.
All right, we're going to begin tonight's speed feed off the coast of Georgia, where crews are still working to clean up that residual fuel oil from tanks inside the capsized cargo ship in the St. Simons Sound. This picture right here, taken a couple of days ago, show the work barges in place as crews prepare to begin the removal process. The ship, also known as the Golden Ray, will have to be disassembled piece by piece. If you recall, back on September 8th, the Golden Ray capsized as it departed the port of Brunswick. All crew members were safely rescued, including 4 men who were trapped for 36 hours before they could be extracted through a small hole drilled in the hull. The ship could take more than a year to dismantle. Police are now searching for 2 cars linked to a shooting, the shooting death of a man on Interstate 285. This is what we know. Police are searching for an Audi A4 and a Kia Soul. They may be linked to the death of 51-year-old Oswald Cunningham. Cunningham was shot inside his car Wednesday afternoon along 285. This was right near Interstate 20 on the west side of town. The alleged shooter was in a different car but stayed on the scene. A woman in Fulton County has now been charged with prostitution for knowingly exposing other people to HIV. Georgia Pitts was taken into custody. There's her picture there. According to Georgia law, it is illegal to knowingly attempt to transmit HIV. Anyone who came in contact with her is now urged to contact police. New numbers rank Georgia the 5th highest for HIV diagnosis, and according to the state's health department, 1 in 6 people living with HIV in Georgia don't even know that they have the virus. If you have any questions, be sure to visit your local clinic.
Your 11Alive storm trackers are watching those temperatures rise today. In fact, we started out at 40 degrees and we made it all the way up to 65 degrees between the 3 and the 4 o'clock hour. So definitely warmer today. And we'll see the temperature roller coaster ride the next few days. Right now, or I should say highs today, made it up to 67 degrees in Athens, 64 in Marietta and Carrollton, 65 in Rome, 67 in LaGrange. So it was a nice warm December day. Overnight tonight, we're going to see the clouds start to increase ahead of our next system, and the winds are going to start shifting. And then we're going to start seeing some changes the next few days. So you can see a few showers working their way through northern Alabama. I think these will probably pretty much dissipate as they head into Georgia. We still have high pressure in place for now, and that's keeping us high and dry for the moment. But we do have another system that is developing across the Lone Star State that's going to continue to move in our direction. That's going to bring in our rain chances for tomorrow afternoon and evening. So overall, it looks like it'll be fairly showery in nature. But a 40% chance makes it a 6 on the wazometer for us, starting out in the low 40s, getting up into the mid 50s. So coming up, we'll time out the rain, not just for tomorrow, but for the rest of the weekend and into next week. And it is going to be very cold behind some of those systems next week. We'll have more on that as well.
All right, thanks, Sam. Republican Congressman Tom Graves announced today that he will not run for re-election next year. In a letter, Graves says he's stepping away from politics to spend more time with family. He's been the representative for the 14th District, covering Northwest Georgia since 2013. Before that, he served as representative for the 9th District of Northeast Georgia.
All right, straight ahead, bouncing back, how these puppies are doing months after being rescued from a suspected puppy mill.
And don't forget, we're streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe and join the conversation down in the community section. We've got more 11Alive news in prime time after the break. A year after they were rescued from a puppy mill, these dogs are making some incredible progress. The woman arrested for keeping them in these horrific conditions will be arraigned next week on 25 misdemeanor charges in one county and is facing felony charges in another. Dozens of dogs were rescued from Angela Powell's properties in South Georgia and sent to rescues all across the state. Coco's Cupboard took in 6 of the dogs and tells our Caitlin Ross they are all doing great.
These dogs have come so far. One of them is even training to be a service dog. But it hasn't been easy, and many of them still have a long way to go.
People want to get a dog who they can fix with love. This you don't fix with love. Love is scary because they don't know what that means.
Suzanne Aaron spends day and night with the dogs confiscated from South Georgia last year. Day by day, they're getting better.
This takes years to fix, if you can ever fix all of it. Sansa is phenomenally coming along.
Sansa has come so far in the past year. They're now training her to be a service dog for a local veteran. She wears the vest and is interacting beautifully with people. But not all of the dogs are success stories. Duncan was taken off the property in South Georgia on the same day and just can't adjust to kindness.
He doesn't want any stranger. He doesn't want affection still. It's been very, very challenging.
Coco's Cupboard has worked tirelessly with the dogs they took in. But looking at the conditions they were confiscated in, they knew this wasn't the end of the story.
When we got these Meadow dogs, I knew there had to be puppies somewhere. And so one of the girls that works for me, we tracked down through the internet someone who was selling puppies with this coloring.
You got them? Okay, good.
The rescue group bought 2 dogs from a breeder identified as Angela Powell's daughter on paperwork. They spent $1,200 each on 2 puppies to make sure those dogs have a good life too. But just buying them isn't enough.
Danny, even though she's been with us since she was 8 weeks old, is still a little squirrely.
But they're not giving up on Danny or Dragon, the 2 puppies, or the 6 they saved that night from the puppy mill a year ago. They believe all of them deserve a chance.
It is amazing. And to us, it's like the ultimate success story for them.
Angela Powell will be arraigned in Montgomery County for her misdemeanor charges on December 11th. The felonies are still working their way through the court system, but if convicted, she could be facing years in prison.
Well, we are watching that sunset again tonight. This week has been just tremendous as far as sunsets are concerned, and our 11Alive storm trackers have been all over it, including Blake Robb in Carrollton. He sends his drone up just about every day. So he took this drone shot of the sunset, and you can see those beautiful oranges over the horizon with that thin layer of cloud decking there. And right now in Blue Ridge, it is a pretty nice evening. It is very mild for a Thursday in the beginning of December. So we're going to see much cooler temperatures working into the high country by the beginning of next week, or really into about Tuesday night and Wednesday of next week. And we could even be talking about some wintry weather, but not so today. Check that out. 65 degrees here in the Atlanta area. We were at 40 for a low, so we were well above average for our high temperature today by 8 degrees. 75 is a record high for the day, by the way. That was a warm one back in 1977, 10 degrees warmer than we were today. Rainfall, we're behind. We need the rain, and we're going to have a couple chances to get a little caught up this weekend and next week. We're just under 8 inches behind for the year. We definitely need a few good soaking rains moving on in. We're cooling it off in Blairsville right now. Look at that, 33 degrees. So that's not far from Blue Ridge. Pretty chilly up there at the moment. 50 in Gainesville and in Duluth, 44 in Peachtree City, and 39 in LaGrange. So overall, temperatures will not be quite as chilly as they were last night as the clouds start to roll in advance of a system. The system doesn't look all that impressive as it approaches. It's very light and very spotty, and you can see most of those showers kind of dissipating as they move to the east. So we may see a few little sprinkles as we head into the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning. High pressure still kind of keeping things in control right now, making for fair weather. It will eventually push off to the east, and we'll see some changes in our weather pattern. So we do have a front on approach. This will be moving in our direction on Friday afternoon and evening. That will increase our rain chances a bit, but I still think it's going to be very showery in nature. So we'll have those showers moving in tomorrow, mainly during the afternoon and early evening, mostly cloudy and mostly dry on our Saturday, and then the rain returns on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So that Monday night into Tuesday looks like when we could have the heaviest rain. So as far as right now, we're seeing those clouds rolling in from Alabama. That'll continue overnight. So as Chesley McNeil's out there doing weather early in the morning at Canathon, it looks like we will be dry at 4 a.m. and into 6:30 as well for all of our live Canathon broadcasts. Heading into the rest of the morning, it looks mostly dry. I think we're going to be okay. Maybe a few sprinkles, nothing to worry about. The rain works its way out of Alabama into Georgia during the afternoon. Right now, it looks like the heaviest will be to the south, maybe in Troup County, and the rest of the showers look pretty spotty for the rest of the afternoon and evening. For Friday night football, it looks like fairly light showers and few and far between. So we'll keep our eye on the radar tomorrow afternoon and evening and let you know as things continue to develop here. So for your weekend, we're expecting a 20% chance of just a little bit of drizzle on our Saturday. It's going to be mostly dry for the start of our weekend, and then a 40% chance on Sunday, a little bit more widespread, and it starts to pick up in intensity. So coming up, we'll have more on that in the latter part of this hour. So we're looking at those showers moving in at right around 1, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Drizzle possibility on our Saturday, but just a little bit of it. Sunday looks a little more likely for light rain into Monday, and then best chance for storms will come early on Tuesday.
Well, it's been a busy offseason for the Braves. They haven't been afraid to spend, and they're adding some key pieces. I'm here with Grant McCauley, 680 The Fin, pre- and post-game show host for the Braves. So, Grant, our Braves expert here. So we're going to play a little game called I Say, You Say. All right? We're going to talk about these things that are going on. So I'll start right here. I'm going to get right to it. I say the Braves signed the wrong Cole. Cole Hamels, nice. I want Garrett Cole. You say what?
Look, the thing is, a lot of teams are going to want Garrett Cole, but the Braves, realistically speaking, I don't think we're going to be in the Derby for a $200+ million pitcher.
For the most part, the Braves have kept that financial flexibility that they've wanted to keep with these one-year deals. Yep. I mean, they're paying a lot of money, but these are just one-year deals. Right. So I want to go into my next question with this. I say the Braves need to give Josh Donaldson that long-term deal that he's been looking for. He deserves it.
I think he does, and the big thing with Josh is, to me, he proved a lot. Once he turned it on, the Braves offense also turned it on with him in the cleanup spot. You have to make that move. I think it's going to be $25 million a year to get you into the conversations with Josh Donaldson, probably 3 guaranteed years after Mike Moustakas just got 4.
All right, last one for you. I hate to be that guy here, but I'm going to be that guy for a second. I say, given all these great moves that the Braves have made, the expectations are still the same. They have to make it to the NLCS at least.
Yeah.
Right. You say what?
I say yes. I say that they should have made it to the NLCS this year. And I think if you were to go take a poll, not just of fans, but ask every man in that clubhouse what they expected to win that series against the Cardinals. But it just did not happen because baseball's funny like that. You give teams opportunities. A lot of times things go off the script because there is no script.
That's Grant McCauley. Winter meetings right around the corner. Spring training will be here before you know it.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. A big day in the investigation against President Donald Trump. What comes next in the process as House leaders draft articles of impeachment?
In your week making a difference, a reminder, the 11Alive Can-a-thon is tomorrow. We'll be collecting canned goods to help families in need. Help us stock the food banks. We'll have teams all across the metro on Friday. Ron and I will be at Cumberland Mall. We'd love to see you there. We do have a list of all the locations on 11alive.com.
House Democrats are moving full steam ahead into a new phase of their inquiry into President Trump and his alleged misconduct regarding Ukraine. In a news conference this morning, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced that she has asked the House Judiciary Committee to begin drafting articles of impeachment. NBC White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us now from the White House. Kelly, good evening. Thank you so much for being with us. What points are we expecting lawmakers to outline in these articles of impeachment?
Well, Jennifer, that's one of the big questions. They will now begin the work of trying to write the specific charges that they believe they have evidence to support against the president. It could be in the area of abuse of power, obstruction of Congress. Those are some of the possibilities, but we don't yet know exactly how they will frame these articles of impeachment or how how many there will be. But we do expect that come Monday, there's another hearing, and they will outline a lot of the evidence, and that should help us to have a better sense of where they think these articles of impeachment are most supported by the testimony and the evidence they've collected so far. So some question marks here, but a big day, a significant change now that Speaker Pelosi is saying it's time to move forward with impeachment.
It certainly is. So after those articles are drafted, what do we know about what comes next in the process? And do we have any idea about how quickly all of this might start happening?
Well, Republicans have been saying that the Democrats have been moving too quickly, that it's been a rush to judgment, that they're in a hurry for no particular reason. Democrats push back on that and say that they're trying to be expeditious, and they are mindful of the calendar being limited time left before lawmakers are scheduled to return to their home districts and states for the holiday season. And, of course, 2020 is at our doorstep, and that is an election year, and they'd like to get this done more quickly. So it is possible, and in fact, it's expected that Democrats will try to move and have the articles drafted and ready for votes and a vote taken before they leave Washington to go back home right before the Christmas holidays. That could be something that is pushed into the new year. That's a possibility. They have not confirmed exactly when they're ready to go, but there's a sense that they need to act now and need to act in the next couple of weeks, and so that's the expectation. Jennifer?
Kelly, President Trump has wrapped up that testy trip to London for the NATO summit. The president, for his part, has invited this process this morning on Twitter, suggesting that he's confident his Republican colleagues will stand behind him after the hearings. Does that still hold up?
Well, at this point, the president is almost accepting that the sheer numbers in the House, with Democrats in control, mean that if they've made a decision to go toward impeachment, that they're likely to succeed in that. And so instead of engaging in the House, he's looking ahead to the next venue, which he thinks is much more favorable because Republicans have the majority in the Senate, and you would need 2/3 of all senators to vote to remove him from office. And he believes that Republicans have been holding together, not expecting many, if any, Republicans to peel away and side with Democrats, at least as things stand right now. So ultimately, the president believes he will be acquitted, and so he's saying get on with it if House Democrats are ready to go. Instead of this argument that they're moving too quickly, the president is saying it's almost a foregone conclusion. Let's get to the venue where he believes he can do better, and that is because Republicans would be in charge of a Senate trial. We do expect in that case that the White House might participate in a much more visible way. They have really avoided any participation in what's been happening on the House side so far. Jennifer?
All right. And we are less than a year away from 2020 and those presidential elections. Do we know what kind of impact this could have, not only on the election next fall, but also the Democratic primary?
Well, it's a big question, and there are different ways to look at it. There are those who might feel that Democrats are doing exactly what the Constitution requires of them, and it might not have a direct impact. Others say the party that brings impeachment is usually penalized by the public because many voters would like lawmakers to be working on the issues that affect their lives much more, not engaged in this political process, which impeachment inherently is a political process. So it's unclear. It also could cost the president, especially with persuadable voters or independents who would say that if he has been brought to this impeachment process and put through a trial, that he should not be reelected. So it could be a mixed bag. We don't yet know. It will also likely have some impact in the early states for Democrats because a number of senators who are running for running for the nomination of their party would also be in part of the Senate jury, and those senators who themselves would be running for their own reelection would be involved in that too. So there's likely to have plenty of election year overlap. Exactly how it turns out will certainly be seen over time. Jennifer?
A lot of unknowns. Thank you so much, Kelly. We appreciate you this evening. Remember, let 11Alive News be your guide during this impeachment process. You can download our app right now. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play.
For nearly 30 years, some of the biggest names in the music industry grace its stage. We're talking about bands like Nirvana, 9 Inch Nails, and Soundgarden. Tonight, a closer look at the new plans for the old Masquerade building by the Beltline.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Georgia school districts are closely watching an Atlanta federal appeals court case that could impact students all across our state. It involves whether transgender students should be allowed to choose which bathroom they use. And it focuses on a Florida student who sued after his school district refused to let him use the boys' bathroom. Joe Hinkie was in court and spoke with the former student.
Right here, please. After a hearing in the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals today, Drew Adams posed for pictures with his mother, an attorney. In high school in Florida, Drew transitioned from female to male and began using the boys' restroom. Adams sued when the St. Johns County School District told him he could only use gender-neutral bathrooms.
Before this became an issue, nobody knew who I was. Nobody cared what bathroom I used. Most people, when they use the bathroom, don't look twice at whoever's in there with them.
Inside today's hearing, the school district's attorney, Jeffrey Slanker, asked the court to overturn a ruling allowing students to use the bathroom of the sex they identify with. The district argues that this is a case of privacy, that Adams is not a boy, and students have the right to privacy from the opposite sex in the restroom. Adams' attorney, Tara Borelli, though, calls this a discrimination case, arguing Adams is a boy, and at trial she detailed Adams' transition and showed a Florida driver's license and birth certificate saying Adams is male. Adams' attorney says that this case is about students wanting to conform to gender-separate bathrooms.
They're simply trying to be allowed to fit in as adolescents at their school, which is so important for students in that particular time of their life.
In October, Pickens County parents debated a school board proposal that was set to take effect next year, allowing transgender students to use the bathroom they identify with.
Do not do this. I am begging you.
This is going to happen, so let's be standing together.
To avoid a court battle the superintendent says could bankrupt the district, Pickens County is waiting to see the outcome of Adams' case. In court today, Judge William Pryor Jr. said they are aware of the impact any opinion they write will have and have to be concerned how this affects the next case.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. And because the federal appeals court covers Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, the ruling could impact Georgia district's policies as well. The court could rule at any time in the coming weeks or months.
DeKalb County's police and firefighters could be bringing home a little more money in the new year. That tops tonight's Speed Feed. We first told you about this last night at 6. Today, DeKalb CEO Michael Thurman recommended a 4% pay increase for public safety workers. Starting in January, it would apply to about 2,300 employees. The total cost to the county, about $5.4 million.
This salary increase will help us with retention. It'll help us with recruitment, and it'll bring us closer to the pay of our counterparts in the local area.
If approved by DeKalb's Board of Commissioners, it will be the 4th public safety increase since 2017. Well, what a difference a couple of days makes. Construction is rolling along inside SunTrust Park for the Big Air event coming up later this month. Steel beams are forming a 15-story ski slope. Closer to the event, they'll bring in 800 tons of snow to cover it. And some of the best snowboarders and free skiers in the world will come to Atlanta to perform on the week before Christmas. We have more information on 11alive.com. Well, it's been an advertising battle, and people have some really strong opinions about the chicken sandwich wars. And tonight, 3 of Atlanta's most popular musicians are picking a side.
Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Woo, like I talk it.
Migos is not siding with the hometown favorite Chick-fil-A. Their pick is Popeyes. Offset, Quavo, and Takeoff signed a deal with Popeyes and Uber Eats, according to our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle. You can order 4 different meal options from a special Migos menu for delivery, but only through January 2nd.
Oh, we're going to see some changes as we head into tomorrow and the rest of the weekend. The first system moving through is moving out of the Mississippi River Valley, or moving towards it, and will be moving in our direction as we head into our Friday. So we are going to see some changes take place. I think we're okay for Canathon, though. We were really concerned for part of the week that it may be a little wet and cold out there, but it will be cooler. But I think that we'll be able to get most of the Canathon in without feeling too many raindrops. We'll be mostly dry the first half of the weekend as well. So Saturday looks like the best day of the weekend. And then starting on Sunday, we see a colder and wetter pattern pattern starting to develop, and that's because we're going to see a wedge set up, and that's when we get a northeasterly wind, and it pulls some cooler air down on the lee side of the Appalachians. And what that does, it kind of locks us in and makes things unsettled. It makes things overcast, and it makes things cool. So Sunday, it looks like we're going to have a cool Sunday. It's going to feel a bit raw at times with some drizzle coming from time to time, starting out in the upper 40s for tailgaters out there as the Carolina Panthers will be taking on the Falcons. And then as we head in through the rest of the afternoon, temperatures right around 50 with that chance for rain in the forecast, and it'll be a cold rain at that. And then getting colder once the next system moves through the beginning of next week. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
The Trump administration is moving forward with new food stamp rules. Former Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue has played a key role in pushing this all through. Tonight, we're looking at the impact on Georgia specifically. The new policy that Perdue helped create as Secretary of Agriculture affects adults who are childless and are not disabled. It limits states' abilities to exempt those recipients from obtaining steady employment in order to receive benefits. The USDA says it could cause nearly 700,000 people nationwide to lose benefits. Under the new rule, only areas where they have 6% unemployment could qualify for these exemptions. According to data from earlier this year, that would only include Wheeler, Telfair, and Clay counties. Able adults who don't fall under the exception would have to work 20 hours a week or do job training to get that assistance. Rolling in. All
right, Smyrna police are now asking neighbors to give them access to their homes to help track down some of those criminals out there. Officers are also using a new technology to find crooks in their cars, and it seems to be working.
Smyrna police say good old-fashioned technology got these suspected armed robbers off the streets.
We were able to track down the machete-wielding robbers that were robbing CVS and Walgreens.
Timothy Soulsby and Vincent McClure are accused of walking into Walgreens and CVS with a machete last month demanding cash, but their getaway car apparently got them caught the next day.
We were able to put those license plates into the database to trigger an alert when they drove by a flock camera.
Flock cameras are a subscription service where plate reading cameras are secretly positioned in traffic congested areas. The collected data is secured at police headquarters. The machete robbers apparently drove right past one of the cameras.
Now, this just shows you how fast the investigative process is. Once the flock cameras take a picture of the license plate on the street, it goes back to police headquarters. That information then immediately goes to the officers on the street in less than 20 or 30 seconds. Less than 20 or 30 seconds? Come on.
It's that quick, yes.
Police say they have arrested a half-dozen people involved in various crimes since the flock cameras went up about a month ago. They also launched a program called Smyrna View, where they're asking neighbors to give them access to their home security video.
Our program is completely voluntary.
If I have the video coverage, then why not share it?
Barb Allen just joined the program.
And the more people that are involved, the better off we're all going to be.
Strong reaction to our story about controversy surrounding a statue of Henry Woodfin Grady. The Grady name is prominent in Georgia, Grady Hospital and High School, but should it be? That question has inspired much debate on our 11Alive social media platforms. Georgia State University students are campaigning to move a statue of Grady in downtown Atlanta to the Atlanta History Center. At the very least, include a plaque with what they say is the truth about what he stood for. They say he was a racist who spoke about white supremacy openly and often. But the Georgia Young Republicans are against moving the statue, saying they oppose the, quote, editing or deleting of history. In a statement, the group's chairman writes that while there is no doubt or debate that Grady was a flawed, racist, often small-minded man who was the product of a terrible system, deleting the reminders of our past allows the opportunity to repeat the same mistakes. You'll find more on Grady and why moving the statue isn't so simple on 11alive.com.
All right, so this place has been the home of concerts of all variety, but the music is now being replaced with telephones and typing at Atlanta's once famed Masquerade. The Atlanta Business Chronicle is now reporting developers plan to convert the venue on the Beltline's East Side Trail into office space. Previous plans filed in 2017 were to turn that landmark into a busy retail and restaurant space. The Masquerade relocated to underground Atlanta in 2016.
We've all come home at the end of the day to find business cards stuck in our door or on our mailbox, but are they part of something more sinister, a way for thieves to track which houses are empty? Our Verify team got that question this week from a viewer. We set Jennifer Bellamy on it to get some answers.
The question came in from Riley out in Fulton County. She said her home was broken into over the Thanksgiving holidays, and she noticed she had several business cards stuck in her door when she got home. So she asked, are robbers putting business cards indoors as a sort of phishing scheme? The theory is that if someone removed the card, it meant that they were home, but if not, the home is ripe for robbing. So we asked 3 different law enforcement departments, Atlanta Police, Sandy Springs Police, and the Gwinnett County Sheriff. They all said they'd never heard of this. In fact, Atlanta pulled burglary reports from the month of November. They said they found no evidence that robbers were using business cards as a tool to commit theft. So are thieves sticking business cards in people's doors to check and see if someone is in town before robbing them? We verified and found that that is false. Now, if you have something you'd like for us to verify for you, send us your ideas. You can do that on Facebook, Twitter, or send an email to verify@11alive.com.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay Bell. A man with autism is stunned when his community buys him a brand new bike. Coming up, how the program that helped him replace his broken bike has already been helping his neighbors. And don't forget, folks, we are streaming right now as we speak on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. And we've got more 11Alive news, prime time, after the break.
Ty Birch can't drive because of his autism, so when his bike broke down, he was stuck without a way to get around town. That is until his community rallied around him.
Absolutely, he's not the first to receive what has become a very familiar gift. Boyd Hubert from our sister station out of Minneapolis explains.
When he's gripping his handlebars, one of the best parts of Ty Birch is occupied. Just wait for him to stop and free up his waving hand. Then ask Ty.
You like biking? Yeah, I do.
No. Lie.
Yeah, nonstop.
Jenny Edwards is Ty's mom.
Yes, he loves riding his bike. He just likes to go.
It's what I'm mostly good at.
Good to be back on a bike for the first time in months, thanks to the community through which Ty rides.
Just sitting at my office and the phone rings.
Gordon Young, River Falls police chief,
Yes.
answered that call.
Yep.
About a young man seen struggling riding a broken bike.
I felt like I was about to tip over and fall because this whole piece right here was broken.
The frame on Ty's 2-year-old $1,400 bike broke.
There was no fix.
Like his mother's heart.
Just to see him so upset.
With the autism diagnosed when Ty was a boy, biking became the one thing he could make his own.
I think it's just kind of his escape from everything. I felt like I was failing as a parent because I'm like, oh, I need to buy a new bike. But that's a big purchase.
Fortunately, River Falls has been down this road before.
Griffith, we have a surprise for you today.
That's Frances Johnson, a food service worker at UW River Falls, who also wore out his bike.
Get ready.
He rode to work every day. He rode all around town.
And that's Frances's co-worker, Elise Coe,
Here we go.
who organized the effort to buy Frances a new one. The bike on which Frances was riding 10 months later when he suffered a heart aneurysm and died.
He actually was coming to work when he passed away.
Like that, Elise knew.
Yeah.
The same gift given to Frances would be given to others.
It's called the Frances Johnson Memorial Fund. Yeah.
The fund that paid for the bike that now sits in the rack at Dick's grocery store.
Paper plastic.
The bike Ken Phillips rode to work.
My doctor won't let me drive until she says it's okay because I've already had 2 strokes. The one thing that makes River Falls is the people.
The people who heard about Ty's broken bike and summoned him to the police station.
Surprise!
Ty Birch, the latest beneficiary
A new bike.
of the Frances Johnson Memorial Fund.
It's what we do here.
Away he went. He rode it home, and he hasn't stopped since.
Autism put restrictions on Ty. His community is taking them off.
I like to ride my bike because it makes me feel like I'm free.
So if the mood hits him, he'll stop and wave. But only a minute. For Ty's road ahead is wide open.
Well, the clouds are starting to increase a little bit out there, even in Rome, and the breezes are up too, up around 15 miles per hour gusts right now in downtown Rome. So it's not quite as clear as it was earlier, but there are some clear spots across North Georgia, so you may be lucky enough to see the Geminin meteor shower. We had many reports last night of a brilliant fireball that happened between about 8:30, 8:40 in the evening. And reports in northern Alabama, reports all over North Georgia that somebody saw, that many people saw a bright, low to the horizon meteor that came in. So it's likely, especially the next week when we get clear periods at night, especially after midnight, that you could see quite a few of these. We could end up seeing 100 to 150 per hour as we see the peak on the 13th and the 14th. So that is not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. So something to look for as we head into the next 10 days or so. Also some things to look for, some rain and maybe even some wintry precipitation. Now looking out right now on the radar on the satellite, there's nothing on radar. Satellite shows a few clouds moving in right now and the rain in northern Alabama. Pretty spotty though, doesn't look all that impressive, certainly not threatening. Just a few little rogue showers out there and they seem to to be hitting up against that area of high pressure that brought in our warm temperatures today, and they're just kind of dying out. So I think it's going to take a while for the atmosphere to really moisten up and for this high to kind of push off to the east. So what we're watching beyond that is a frontal system that's going to be moving in. Now, this particular front will bring us our chance of showers on Friday. The cooler air is still well off over the Arctic, so it's going to take a while for it to work its way down here. We think Wednesday morning we'll be feeling the chill, though, for sure. So let's talk about timing of the rain. The clouds move in tonight. 4:30 in the morning, Canathon starts. We'll be broadcasting live, collecting food to feed the hungry people in northern Georgia, and we'll continue to see those clouds throughout much of the morning. So it will look overcast, but I think we'll be okay in terms of rain for the Canathon itself. Afternoon comes and we'll see the rain starting to move in from Alabama. Again, I think it's going to take a while for the atmosphere to moisten up, but we'll see some showers around here for the evening commute. For Friday night football, it's certainly a possibility here. And then we'll be cloudy as we head into the overnight hours. And by Saturday, we'll still see some clouds from time to time. We have a slim chance of a little bit of drizzle, but I think we're going to be a-okay for Saturday. Just a slight chance to see some scattered light showers. I think for the most part will be mostly dry. Sunday will be the day the wedge starts to set up, and that'll be a 40% chance of rain, and temperatures will be much cooler. So the Georgia game looks good. We just have a slim chance for an isolated shower or two. Mostly dry conditions. Temperatures in the upper 50s. We'll see some peaks of sunshine there. So not a bad way to spend an SEC championship game, because we've had some SEC championships here that have been very cold and very wet. So just a few showers possibly tomorrow. We have a 40% chance in the afternoon and evening. We have a slim chance for a little bit of drizzle on Saturday as the wedge starts to set up. It will be set up on Sunday with a 40% chance of rain. That continues into Monday. And then as we head into Tuesday, that's when we could see some storms early Tuesday with a lot of cold air moving in behind it for the middle of next week.
University of Georgia fans are already claiming prime tailgating spots for Saturday's SEC championship against LSU. It's been a good season for the Bulldogs and for Athens, with thousands of visitors in town for home games. One of the biggest winners, Airbnb hosts. The rental company says homeowners welcomed more than 13,000 guests over the fall. Altogether, they earned more than $2.75 million in supplemental income. The biggest weekend, no surprise, was in September when UGA played Notre Dame. Hosts made a total of $834,000 over just 2 nights.
For the first time, we are getting a look at the 2019 Miss Universe crown. This beauty is 167 carats and worth $5 million. Wow. Women from more than 90 countries will hit the stage Sunday at Tyler Perry Studios. This is the first time Atlanta will host the competition.
A little boy's invitation that will leave a smile on your face. You're going to hear the story behind all these hearts at his adoption hearing. All right, there's a little boy out there. He says he's very thankful to feel so much love from his new family and all of his friends.
This is like my favorite story of the day. The love filled the room, literally. Take a look.
1, 2, 3.
36 kids were officially adopted in their new families today, but one little boy named Michael just couldn't contain his excitement, so much so that he invited his entire kindergarten class from his school in Michigan. Every classmate showed up, showing their support with their paper hearts.
Okay, so here's what some of you guys are saying out there about this story under the community tab on our 11Alive YouTube page. That straight power them shorties just showed. The straight power those shorties just showed. Adults can learn a lot from this.
James says the more the merrier, and Lily says awesome experience with his classmates.
Oh, that's a sweet one for sure. Yeah. Well, you know, today's weather was really sweet as well, but things are going to be changing a bit tomorrow. We should start out mostly dry for Canathon, but we'll see some showers off and on tomorrow afternoon. Getting into Saturday, we'll see a few clouds at time, maybe a few spotty showers. Better chance on Sunday, though, and then much colder and wetter and then colder next week.
Okay, can't wait for the Canathon.
Ron and I will see you on 11 on 11Alive.
"11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Right now at 10, she spent more than 30 days in a coma, and she was almost dying after a hit and run. Tonight, we're talking with one woman about her recovery and her hopes for life.
And could business cards stuck in your door be a tactic for people who want to break into your home? We're looking into the claim tonight.
But we begin tonight with a young veterinarian technician rushed to the hospital when a sheriff's canine attacks her.
Yeah, the dog had been boarded for several days and latched onto the woman's face. This is so horrible. Ryan Kruger joins us now, and the tech had only been there for a short time.
Yeah, only 3 days she had been there on the job. It's horrible. The police report I obtained says the dog bit her in the face, dragged her on the ground. It took several minutes to get the dog off of her because, as the report says, the vet techs, they didn't know the dog's commands, but a simple Google search was all it took for me to find them.
The Fulton County Sheriff's Office put on a show 2 years ago when they deputized Canine Ian. This is video from a press conference at the time. And a press release from the Sheriff's Office said the Belgian Malinois understands commands in Czech. Fast forward to Wednesday morning. 2 vet techs at the VCA Pets Are People 2 facility in Roswell had no idea what commands to give the dog when the dog attacked one of the techs, biting her in the arm and face, dragging her to the ground and holding her there for 2 to 3 minutes. Finally, another tech was able to pull the dog off of her.
Okay, yeah.
You ever seen anything like that?
No, thank God.
Dr. Michael Good with Town and Country Veterinary Clinic in Marietta was heartbroken when he learned the details. He tells me before he boards any dogs, he tries to find out as much information about the dog as possible.
This is a very unique situation. Now there's a lot of tragedy, and it's now we're all thinking, what could we have done differently? A little bit more information, and making sure there's a chain of command.
Good is also troubled by one particular line in the police report. Another vet tech told police the dog was anxious, pushy, and had nipped her a few times earlier that day. If that's happening to one of your dogs, what's the next step?
And then I'm back there and I'm saying, okay, call the police. Say, hey, I don't know what situation, but we can't take a chance here.
And we reached out to both VCA and the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. Neither is commenting on this case tonight. Now, investigators tell me the canine's handler is out of the country and that Ian, the dog, had been at the facility for 5 days.
What a frightening story. Thank you, Ryan. New tonight, just 3 months after he was acquitted in a Fulton County murder, a 19-year-old is now charged with murder again, this time in a deadly police chase near the Tyler Perry Studios in southwest Atlanta. We covered the chase yesterday at 5. 2 people were killed when police say Margell Scott and his alleged accomplice blew through a red light and struck another car. Officers tried to stop them. Latasha Givens learned today both suspects have been on officers' radar before.
Police say Margell Scott and Emmanuel Fambro both had multiple run-ins with police as juveniles. Now, at 19, they're both charged in murder in yesterday's deadly chase. Now, it started after police say they carjacked and robbed someone at gunpoint. It ended when the suspect slammed head-on into another car.
The chase and crash shut down Campbellton Road at Lee Street right as rush hour was beginning Wednesday afternoon. The suspects were in a white Jeep that was left barely recognizable after the crash. 2 innocent people in a black car were killed. Police say Margell Scott and Emmanuel Fambro tried to run, but both were arrested. Police allegedly found a gun on Fambro and another stolen gun in the Jeep. They're checking to see if those weapons are connected to other crimes. Court records show Scott has had previous run-ins with the law. In 2015, he was charged with robbery and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. In 2018, he and 2 others were charged with felony murder after a man was shot and killed during a home invasion. The trio was accused of being part of a gang. Now he's facing a new murder charge for yesterday's deadly crash.
We did not find previous charges for Fambro as an adult, but in addition to the felony murder charge, Scott and Fambro are facing a host of other charges.
And we reached out to the Fulton County District Attorney for insight into why the other murder case against Scott fell apart. The DA says out of the 34 murder cases his office has tried this year, Scott's is just one of 4 that they have lost. He went on to say they felt the defendant was guilty, but the jurors saw it differently, and they respect the jury's verdict. You can read the district attorney's full statement, including his reaction to the new charges that Scott faces on 11alive.com.
A woman in Fulton County has been charged with prostitution and knowingly exposing other people to HIV. Georgia Pitts was taken into custody according to Georgia Code 16520. It is illegal to knowingly attempt to transmit HIV. Anyone who came in contact with her is urged to contact police. New numbers rank Georgia the 5th highest for HIV diagnosis, and according to the state's health department, this is so scary. 1 in 6 people living with HIV in Georgia don't even know they have the virus. If you have questions, be sure to visit your local clinic.
Let's quickly take you through some of the other stories that we are following tonight. A Clayton County student now facing charges after a 14-year-old girl at Mundy Mill High School says she was put into a headlock, pulled into a bathroom, then raped. It happened in November. A message sent to parents this week. The school says it is taking steps to ensure the building is clear after school and all students involved in activities are monitored. A new clue on what caused a huge traffic jam on 285. Atlanta police want to speak with the drivers of an Audi A4 and a Kia Soul. Police say they were somehow involved in a shooting yesterday. Oswald Cunningham was shot and killed inside his car on the interstate near I-20. Police say the shooter was in a different car but stayed on the scene.
Georgia Democrats say they are not impressed with Governor Kemp's choice for the U.S. Senate, and that's not too surprising here. So the question is whether they can come up with a candidate to compete with Kelly Loeffler in next year's special election and actually match the funding that she's promising, because it's pretty big here, Jeff. $20 million she has pledged toward the Senate campaign.
And of course, it will be one of 2 U.S. Senate races on the ballot. 11Alive's Doug Richards takes a look at how that is starting to shake out.
Well, as the new incumbent, Kelly Loeffler became the favorite to win Johnny Isaacson Senate seat next fall. But by challenging her, Georgia Democrats say that they will have their best chance in 20 years to win a Georgia Senate seat, as a U.S. Senate seat for the state of Georgia.
Our next U.S. Senator, Kelly Loeffler.
As Kelly Loeffler was basking in Republican approval to her appointment to the U.S. Senate, Michael Thurmond was engineering a pay raise for DeKalb County first responders for a Thursday morning announcement. Now the CEO of DeKalb County, Thurmond may run against Loeffler next year.
It's not just gender or demographics, it's about policies, it's about positions, and more importantly, it's about having built a reputation of service.
In contrast to Loeffler, who has never run for office before, Thurmond was a member of the Georgia legislature before becoming state labor commissioner, before becoming DeKalb's school superintendent and county CEO.
And I believe a Democrat can win the United States Senate.
Former Governor Roy Barnes thinks a Democrat can break the Georgia GOP's hold on the U.S. Senate next year.
And I think it'd be a very competitive race. There's a lot of them out there. Whether they run, I don't know.
Aside from Thurmond, Jen Jordan is among the Democrats getting encouragement to run. She is a state senator who was out front against Georgia's heartbeat abortion law, now tied up in court. Another is Ed Tarver, a former U.S. attorney from Augusta and a former state senator. There's also Sherry Boston, the district attorney of DeKalb County. Still another is Raphael Warnock, the politically active pastor at Atlanta's landmark Ebenezer Baptist Church. Like other potential candidates, Warnock isn't anxious to discuss a race he hasn't yet decided to join. We spoke last month.
I'm honored that, so many people are talking about this possibility, but I'm really focused on doing the best work that I can do on behalf of the people I care about.
Do you think you would be a good U.S. Senator?
I think I'm trying to be the best possible CEO that DeKalb County's ever had.
Non-committal, no? Remember, this is for one of 2 U.S. Senate races to take place less than a year from now. The other will be for the seat now held by Republican David Perdue. At least 4 Democrats have announced for that seat.
So in a week of major political headlines, a surprise for Georgia Republicans. Representative Tom Graves announced he will not seek re-election next year. In a letter to his 14th district constituents, Graves says he has decided to end his time in Congress to spend more time with his family. He also expressed his gratitude, calling his time in public service an honor and, quote, an incredible privilege. Congressman Graves was elected to the House in 2010 when he won a special election for Georgia's 9th district. He previously served in Georgia's House of Representatives. Currently, Republicans hold 9 of the 14 seats in Georgia. According to The Hill, Graves is the 21st GOP lawmaker to announce their retirement in the 116th Congress.
Coming up next, she almost died in a hit and run, and now as she celebrates her birthday, she can't help but think that the person who almost killed her still is out there.
Well, right now things are nice and mild after high pressure warmed us up into the mid-60s today, but cooler air is going to be settling in with a wedge pattern the second half of the weekend. So coming up, how that will impact all of our weekend activities and when the really cold air from the Arctic is going to be settling in.
The 11Alive Count-a-thon is tomorrow. Each year, we team up with the Salvation Army and collect canned food to help Georgia families in need. You can help us. Tomorrow, we'd love the opportunity to meet you in person. We will be at several locations across Metro Atlanta. You can go to 11alive.com/Can-a-thon for a list of the locations. And if you can't make it out, our live coverage on 11Alive begins at 4:30 a.m. A near-death experience for a Metro Atlanta woman. A hit-and-run crash on I-285 in April changed her life, and today she celebrated her birthday.
But still, she has months of physical therapy ahead of her, and the hit-and-run driver is still out there. Hope for a talk to the victim who hopes that someone can help bring that person to justice.
Imagine 1 minute you're living your life, and then in a second, you find yourself struggling to put it back together.
Maybe one day I'll have a regular life again.
For Jeannie Smithwick, that second happened when a hit-and-run crash nearly killed her. She was in a coma at Grady Hospital for 35 days.
A broken arm, a broken leg. They took out my spleen.
She was left with a brain injury and lots of physical therapy.
I can walk, so that's a start.
In April, Smithwick crashed her car into another on 285 eastbound near Sandy Springs. Her car burst into flames. A Good Samaritan stopped, put out the fire, but then a fourth car slammed into all of them. The driver of that fourth car took off.
She's the sweetest person that I've ever known in my life. I mean, she's like my own family, like my own daughter.
Bill Brown is Smithwick's former boss. 8 months after the crash, he happily hosted a birthday party at his restaurant. But as Brown lights the candles on her cake and gathers everyone around to sing, "Happy birthday to you," he can't help but think about the person who almost took her away.
It's very discouraging to know that somebody's out there, they've hurt a human being, critically hurt a human being, and haven't come forward.
Smithwick's attorney Bill Evans says doctors were unsure of her future in the first few days after the crash.
There were times which we did not know whether Jeannie was going to make it.
She did make it, and she's grateful to blow out birthday candles. She doesn't remember a lot from that day and remains focused on getting stronger and getting back to work. Brown says they're waiting on her. And Smithwick's next goal is to dance to her favorite electronic music once again. Now, Sandy Springs police continue to search for a dark blue Ford Mustang, possibly a 2009 model. Smithwick's attorney says based on the crash reports, the car would have significant damage to the front and possibly side of the car.
All right, thank you, Hope. We hope they find that person. Developing right now, a traffic nightmare in Hall County. Both lanes of 985 North are blocked because of this overturned gas tanker. This is near Friendship Road. The driver of the tanker is okay.
Meteorologist Samantha Moore now tracking the forecast for us as we inch closer to the weekend. Friday is that day that we are inching closer.
We are, and that's Canathon. We're wondering how many layers that we're going to need, or even an umbrella, Sam.
I like it.
I think we're going to be okay without major rain gear. It may be smart to have an umbrella just in case, because there may be a passing shower or two as we head into our Friday morning for Canathon. And temperatures, it'll be a little on the cool side to start, but we'll end up seeing temperatures in the upper 50s by the end of the day. So not too shabby. We've had a lot colder Canathons, and everyone's always turned out with great holiday spirit to feed the hungry. Well, we're looking at the Gemini meteor shower out there tonight. In fact, it's going on through next weekend, like weekend after next, and that's when it peaks, the 13th and the 14th of December. But we did have some reports from storm trackers seeing some brilliant fireballs yesterday, very low to the horizon, right around 8:30, 8:35 in Brazelton, in Flowery Branch, also at Cloudland State Park. So we had multiple reports of people seeing this bright fireball. And when we're at peak, you should be able to see anywhere from 100 to 150 if you can get away from the city lights. And the moonlight may also pose a bit of a problem as well. But already we've had reports, so the Geminids are at it again. They're usually one of the better meteor showers to take in over the course of the year. Temperatures nice and mild for doing some stargazing this evening. And today we were up to 65 in Atlanta, 64 in Marietta, 63 in Dalton, 67 in LaGrange and in Athens. What a day. It was one of those rare December warm, beautiful, sunny days. Well, we're going to see that start to change, although it's not going to be a washout this weekend. There are just some things you may want to keep in mind in terms of timing with the rain. So 65 our high, 40 our low. We should be around 57 and 39 this time of year. And rainfall, boy, do we need it. We have almost an 8-inch deficit now. Drought is still a major concern. So we're looking at temperatures here that are starting to drop in places like Blairsville down to 31, 41 in Covington, 43 in Thomaston, and 38 in LaGrange. I don't think we're going to be nearly as chilly tonight as we have been for much of this week, because the clouds are going to come in and that will insulate in just a little bit of warmth like a blanket does, kind of insulating in the Earth's warmth just a little bit. So we should be down in the low 40s overnight. And the clouds will continue to thicken up as we head through the day as well, in advance of a system that's still over the Plain States right now. So eventually it's going to make its way out here, and that will return some of these showers in tomorrow. So it'll be a mostly dry Canathon. We'll see most of the rain in the afternoon and evening. It'll be mostly dry the first half of the weekend, and then a colder, wetter pattern next week. So this is during Canathon, just some clouds out there. The showers will try to work their way during the afternoon. They'll try to work their way into town. I think they'll be fairly spotty in nature, and they may still be hanging around during Friday night football. And then it looks like we have that mostly dry start to the first half of the weekend. So we have a 40% chance of showers, mainly tomorrow afternoon and evening. Maybe a little drizzle on Saturday. Temperatures in the upper 50s for the most part. The next couple of days for highs, low to mid 40s for lows. And then we'll see the clouds continuing to thicken up on Sunday. Wedge pattern brings in the cool, damp weather. Monday, more of the same. Tuesday morning, the storms could roll in, and behind that front, some very cold air, and we'll have more on that coming up in just about 30 minutes.
Two Atlanta exports that have done pretty well over the years, Chick-fil-A and Migos. They're making a lot of money, both of them.
Yeah, and when it comes down to the chicken sandwich wars, Migos is going with the money, reportedly siding with Chick-fil-A. Well, no, it's Popeyes.
Is it Popeyes?
See, you would have thought it was Chick-fil-A because they're from here, but it's not. It's Popeyes.
Interesting.
Here's why, Jeff.
Okay.
Migos has a deal with Popeyes, Louisiana Chicken, and Uber Eats that includes their own menu items. That is according to our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle. The bundle is, appropriately named the Migos menu. And one of the items is the new sandwich. We have a poll up on 11alive.com/vote right now asking you, whose side are you on here with this one? And listen, it is no secret that Migos loves Popeyes. They mentioned the restaurant in their hit song Stir Fry. And after the sandwiches sold out the first time, Quavo offered to sell them for $1,000 on Instagram. I guess he got that money flipped and back to him in return. The sandwich wars, getting pretty intense here. Even McDonald's has been testing a new chicken sandwich in Knoxville and actually Houston too. So results on this poll.
I have to tell you, I'm split down the middle on this. I like both sandwiches. I think they're both terrific. In different ways. I like that brioche bun on the Popeyes.
I like the Popeyes one has more of a crunch, and then the
I like the
Chick-fil-A
crunch.
melts in your mouth a little bit more.
I like the Chick-fil-A spice. There's a little more punch, but I like the sort of mixture, the brioche, the Iola sauce, and that chicken that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think we could do this all day long. Just compliment this chicken
I
right
love
on
Popeyes.
up.
I love Chick-fil-A. You know what? It's like saying, which part of your brain do you like best, left or right? I like both.
I tried to wrap this up and it keeps going, guys. We'll be right back.
Get me going here.
I'm Francesca Amaker with the A Scene. Mega producer Will Packer is back at it again. I'll tell you about his new movie inspired by a popular book. It's coming up in the A Scene. All right, folks, you know what time it is. You see your screen. It is time for Thursday's edition of the A Scene, and we are kicking off with a congratulations to Atlanta's own 21 Savage, who was just named on the prestigious list by Forbes 30 Under 30. Not only is he one of 5 honorees on the cover, but he is one of 600 young innovators and trendsetters who Forbes says is changing the world. Now, in the issue, Forbes notes the Grammy-nominated rapper and philanthropist left an incredible mark on the hip-hop as a true original, especially with his album clinching number 2 behind Jay-Z's 444 on the Billboard 200. Now, since 2016, he's also hosted the annual It's a Back to School drive in his home neighborhood of Atlanta, providing students with free haircut supplies and school uniforms. And he's done so much more, so congrats to him. And let's keep the congratulations going. Congratulations to Atlanta's own mega producer, Mr. Will Packer. Hey, Will. Deadline is reporting that Packer and Focus Features are coming together to produce a film that's actually based on a book that will come out next year. It's called When I Was You, written by this woman, Amber Garza. It's about a woman named Kelly Medina, whose son goes off to college. Kelly then receives a phone call from a pediatrician asking for a woman with her same name. She finds out that there's a woman with her same name in her same town, half her age, with a baby. The two later bump into each other, and soon after, one disappears. Dun, dun, dun. And for more of the A Scene, folks, make sure you don't disappear and you just pop up on us, 11alive.com/the A Scene, to see what's filming in your neck of the woods.
All right, well, Jeff, it's been real. I'm headed to get ready for Up Late over
So you're
on
leaving right
11Alive. I'm leaving right now, so if you're late with us, come on over and join me and Ron Jones for more news.
I want to extend a formal invitation for you to remain for the next 35 minutes. There's a lot of room here at the table for you.
All right.
Okay.
Gotta go. Bye.
What can a man say? Aisha, thank you. Here's what's coming up on the ATL, the Big 36, where news is king. Uber releases a new report that reveals a widespread problem with sexual assault. Find out how the company plans to address these alarming numbers. House Democrats are moving full steam ahead into the new phase of their inquiry into President Trump and his alleged misconduct regarding Ukraine. In a news conference this morning, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced that she has asked the House Judiciary Committee to begin drafting articles of impeachment. Jennifer Bellamy spoke to NBC's White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell about the points lawmakers are expected to outline in the articles of impeachment.
Well, Jennifer, that's one of the big questions. They will now begin the work of trying to write the specific charges that they believe they have evidence to support against the president. It could be in the area of abuse of power, obstruction of Congress. Those are some of the possibilities, but we don't yet know exactly how they will frame these articles of impeachment or how many there will be. But we do expect that come Monday, there's another hearing, and they will outline a lot of the evidence, and that should help us to have a better sense of where they think these articles of impeachment are most supported by the testimony and the evidence they've collected so far. So some question marks here, but a big day, a significant change now that Speaker Pelosi is saying it's time to move forward with impeachment.
It certainly is. So after those articles are drafted, what do we know about what comes next in the process? And do we have any idea about how quickly all of this might start happening?
Well, Republicans have been saying that the Democrats have been moving too quickly, that it's been a rush to judgment, that they're in a hurry for no particular reason. Democrats push back on that and say that they're trying to be expeditious, and they are mindful of the calendar being limited time left before lawmakers are scheduled to return to their home districts and states for the holiday season. And, of course, 2020 is at our doorstep, and that is an election year, and they'd like to get this done more quickly. So it is possible, and in fact, it's expected that Democrats will try to move and have the articles drafted and ready for votes and a vote taken before they leave Washington to go back home right before the Christmas holidays. That could be something that is pushed into the new year. That's a possibility. They have not confirmed exactly when they're ready to go, but there's a sense that they need to act now and need to act in the next couple of weeks, and so that's the expectation. Jennifer?
Kelly, President Trump has wrapped up that testy trip to London for the NATO summit. The president, for his part, has invited this process this morning on Twitter, suggesting that he's confident his Republican colleagues will stand behind him after the hearings. Does that still hold up?
Well, at this point, the president is almost accepting that the sheer numbers in the House, with Democrats in control, mean that if they've made a decision to go toward impeachment, that they're likely to succeed in that. And so instead of engaging in the House, he's looking ahead to the next venue, which he thinks is much more favorable because Republicans have the majority in the Senate, and you would need 2/3 of all senators to vote to remove him from office. And he believes that Republicans have been holding together, not expecting many, if any, Republicans to peel away and side with Democrats, at least as things stand right now. So ultimately, the president believes he will be acquitted, and so he's saying get on with it if House Democrats are ready to go. Instead of this argument that they're moving too quickly, the president is saying it's almost a foregone conclusion. Let's get to the venue where he believes he can do better, and that is because Republicans would be in charge of a Senate trial. We do expect in that case that the White House might participate in a much more visible way. They have really avoided any participation in what's been happening on the House side so far. Jennifer?
All right. And we are less than a year away from 2020 and those presidential elections. Do we know what kind of impact this could have, not only on the election next fall, but also the Democratic primary?
Well, it's a big question, and there are different ways to look at it. There are those who might feel that Democrats are doing exactly what the Constitution requires of them, and it might not have a direct impact. Others say the party that brings impeachment is usually penalized by the public because many voters would like lawmakers to be working on the issues that affect their lives much more, not engaged in this political process, which impeachment inherently is a political process. So it's unclear. It also could cost the president, especially with persuadable voters or independents who would say that if he has been brought to this impeachment process and put through a trial, that he should not be reelected. So it could be a mixed bag. We don't yet know. It will also likely have some impact in the early states for Democrats because a number of senators who are running for running for the nomination of their party would also be in part of the Senate jury, and those senators who themselves would be running for their own reelection would be involved in that too. So there's likely to have plenty of election year overlap. Exactly how it turns out will certainly be seen over time. Jennifer?
A lot of unknowns. Thank you so much, Kelly. We appreciate you this evening.
All right, let 11Alive News be your guide during the impeachment process. You can download our app right now. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play. Uber is revealing a widespread problem of sexual assault. This is staggering news. More than 3 million Uber trips are made every day nationwide with thousands of drivers here in Atlanta. The company released a new safety report with alarming statistics, including hundreds of reports of rape.
Just last year, there were 235 reports of a rape taking place during an Uber ride. That's an average of 4 a week. The data was gathered from 2017 and 2018, a total of 2.3 billion rides across the nation. The safety report shows a total of 464 reports of a rape during that time frame, 587 reports of attempted rape, and 3,000 reports of groping. Overall, we're talking about 5,981 reported sexual abuse incidents between 2017 and 2018. Now, the alleged attackers aren't always the drivers. According to the 84-page report, 45% of the reports were filed against riders. But in the case of alleged rapes, riders were the victims in 92% of the 464 reports. Uber says they have added new safety features. There's an emergency button on the app, and the company says they're rolling out a few others. One that will allow riders to verify with their driver through a secure PIN code, another to allow you to send a text to 911 operators, and even a way to report safety incidents to Uber before you finish a ride. In some countries, Uber is now testing a feature for drivers and riders to be able to record audio during their trip. We will have the full safety report on 11alive.com if you want to take a look at that.
So let's take you quickly through some other news tonight. The GBI and FBI now investigating a hack on the city of Newnan. The city says people's names, dates of birth, driver's license, and social security numbers were stolen from as far back as 2010. The city will notify those impacted by mail and will give them documentation confirming the breach and free credit monitoring for a year. And the Georgia Young Republicans are against the moving of a statue of Henry Woodfin Grady, saying they oppose the, quote, editing or deleting of history. Georgia State University students are campaigning to move the statue of Grady in downtown Atlanta to the Atlanta History Center. At the very least, include a plaque with what they say is the truth about what he stood for. They say he was a racist who spoke about white supremacy openly and often. In a statement, the chairman of the Georgia Young Republicans says, while there is no doubt or debate that Grady was a flawed, racist, or often small-minded man who was a product of a terrible system, deleting the reminders of our past allow the opportunity to repeat the same mistakes. You will find more on Grady and why moving the statue isn't so simple. It's on our 11Alive app. It will be a busy Saturday in Atlanta, and MARTA says it's a good idea to take advantage of their beefed-up service. The Children's Christmas Parade will shut down a part of Peachtree from about 10:30 to noon. Then the SEC title game kicks off at 4 with LSU and UGA. MARTA will be adding extra trains to the regular Saturday service 2 hours before the game. They also will be running a streetcar from 8:15 a.m. to 1 a.m. Metro Atlanta is filled with millions of people, each with their own stories, ideas, and history. And that history is the motivation behind a new series here on 11Alive, where we explore the little-known past behind some of our city and region's most famous narratives. Tonight, we take a look at the better half of one of the most famous names in American sports history.
Born in Athens, Georgia in 1900, Claire Merritt's legend is forever set in the gentle rolling hills about an hour north from the sprawling suburbs of Atlanta.
Her family understood the power of beauty. Her father was an attorney, and he would take her to court with him and sit her on the front bench in the courtroom to distract the jurors while he was trying his case.
It was Claire's undeniable beauty that would eventually catch the eye of a legendary Babe Ruth. So how did this small-town Georgia girl, who at 16 already was a divorcee with a baby and $100 to her name, end up marrying New York's biggest and richest sports star? One story fields a scenario where it was the director of a play Claire was in that did the introduction. Claire's family, though, has a different take on the story.
Ty introduced her.
Ty being Hall of Famer Ty Cobb from nearby Royston, Georgia. However the introduction went, it was only months after the striking beauty and the Yankee slugger tied the knot, making Claire one of the country's biggest celebrities. Along with being a devoted wife, Claire served as the Bambino's trainer and taskmaster. According to the New York Times, she subdued his various excesses and managed managed to bring the family finances under control. Claire lived to see the Babe break two of baseball's most famous records, single-season home runs, and career record of 714 home runs. And this hometown Georgia girl supported Braves great Hank Aaron as he chased the Bambino's home run mark. Considered by many to be the first lady of baseball, Claire passed away October 26, 1976, in her New York City apartment filled with memorabilia, many of which was of the man she loved.
Coming up, we have all had business cards stuck in our doors, but is this common practice part of a sinister plot?
I hope you enjoyed the sunny and unseasonably warm weather today, because we're going to see some changes. A couple of big cool downs heading on in. The first of which is going to happen over the weekend as a wedge sets up. So coming up, the timing on the cool air and when you can expect to see the rain.
Transgender students' access to bathrooms in Georgia could be decided by a case in court this week. Joe Hankey was in the courtroom today, and the federal judges in Atlanta heard an appeal in a case out of Florida that could set the precedent for many states.
This case was appealed to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, a court covering Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, meaning any ruling from the court could give school districts in all 3 states guidance of how to handle bathroom policies for students. Drew Adams graduated from St. John's School District in Florida. While attending school there, he transitioned from female to male, began using the boys' room, but was then denied access by the district and filed a lawsuit. A federal court ruled in Adams' favor, but the district appealed, leading to a hearing today here in Atlanta. The district argues that this is a privacy case. Adams and his attorney say it is a case of discrimination.
Nobody looked at me twice in the restroom that I noticed. Nobody told me that they had an issue with me. Nobody indicated that there was a problem whatsoever.
In October in Pickens County, a community meeting turned into a heated debate over a school board proposal that was set to take effect next year, allowing transgender students in Pickens County to use the bathroom they identify with. Pickens superintendent says he is watching the Adams case for guidance of how to move forward. And here's a look at other counties around Atlanta. Fulton County School District does not have a policy in place, but works with students on a case-by-case basis. Gwinnett County has gender-neutral restrooms for students not using the bathroom of their biological sex. Atlanta Public Schools allow students to use the bathroom of their gender identity. Those policies could be challenged or kept the same depending on how the appeals court rules. A decision, I'm told, could come at any time in the coming weeks or even months. Jeff.
We all come home at the end of the day to find business cards stuck in our door or in our mailbox, but are they part of something more sinister, more nefarious? A way for thieves to track which houses are empty? Our Verify team got that question this week from Riley in Fulton County. She said her home got broken into over the Thanksgiving holiday, and she noticed that she had several business cards stuck in her door when she arrived at home. She asked, are robbers, are criminals putting business cards in the door as a sort of phishing scheme? The theory is if somebody removed the cards, it meant they were home. If not, it means the home is ripe for robbing. We asked 3 different law enforcement departments, Atlanta Police, Sandy Springs, and Gwinnett County's sheriff. They all said they've never heard of any of this. In fact, Atlanta pulled burglary reports from the month of November. They said they found no evidence that robbers were using business cards as a tool to commit theft. So are the thieves sticking business cards in people's doors to check to see if they're out of town before robbing their home? We verified, and we find that is false. If you have something you want us to verify, send us your ideas on Facebook, Twitter, or send an email to verify@11alive.com.
We're going to see some changes as we head into the next few days. So hopefully you were able to enjoy some of the midweek sunshine that we saw and those warmer temperatures today. We're going to see things start to change over the course of the weekend as a wedge sets up. And that's when we get cold air moving down the eastern side of the Appalachians. It kind of gets locked in here. And then we'll see some moisture overriding it. And that'll bring in some widespread overcast on Sunday, a little bit of drizzle and cooler temperatures. And then we start to warm it up before the next system starts to make its way in late on Monday night and into Tuesday. So it is going to be an interesting period of weather. So on our Friday, a 6 on the wasometer on that scale of 1 to an 11, with 11 being perfect, starting out in the low 40s. We'll have showers in the afternoon and evening, probably only be in the mid 50s tomorrow. And then as we head into the weekend, the best part of the weekend I think will be Saturday, mostly dry. There may be a stray little light shower, especially later in the day. And then Sunday looks like it'll be more gray with off and on showers, especially during the afternoon and evening. So that's what we're thinking here as we made our forecast for the SEC Championship. I think just a slim chance we could see an isolated shower to upper 50s for tailgating, and kickoff, of course, at 4 o'clock. And for the Falcons game, it'll be colder, more gray with showers off and on. So tailgating for the Falcons most likely in the upper 40s. So this is what we're looking at with our pattern. High pressures in place right now over us, but it's starting to shift to the east. And that's going to allow that front we've been talking about over Texas to move on in with its light rain. Meanwhile, cool air is up there in Canada. It's going to be coming down as we head into next week. It's going to be pulled down, but this low pressure system that's off the California coast, it's another tightly wound low that's going to slam the west coast with a lot of snow, some gusty winds, and then bring in some more cold air for us once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So showers are going to move in tomorrow, mainly in the afternoon and evening. It'll be mostly cloudy, but mostly dry Saturday, and then the rain returns Sunday through Tuesday, starting out light and then building in intensity. So this is the American model. I'm going to use that here for you real quick to show you the rain moving in tomorrow afternoon and evening. Maybe during Friday Night Football, we'll have some showers around. As we head into our Saturday, we'll have the gray and some peaks of sunshine. There'll be some sunshine on Saturday. It'll be mostly dry. Sunday, it is more widespread overcast with more showers later on in the day, and for Monday morning's commute as well. And then the more heavy rain moves in Monday night into Tuesday. That's when we could see maybe 2 inches of rain here in the high country, and we'll be talking about a possible wintry mix in the North Georgia mountains as we head into Tuesday afternoon and evening. So this is what we're thinking. We'll have those showers tomorrow afternoon and evening, 40% chance, mostly dry on Saturday. May have a stray shower or two, no big deal. Heading into Sunday, a little better chance for some light showers, 40%, same thing into Monday, and then the big time rain Monday into Tuesday, we think, as the front moves through, and much colder behind that front.
Sports time on this Thursday night. Julio Jones practiced today in Flowery Branch ahead of Sunday's game taking on the Panthers. He was out Thanksgiving with a shoulder injury. The season almost over, mercifully. No one would blame if he would not play, but there was an interesting exchange when he was asked about the injury today.
I feel great. I had a little head cold early on in the week, but I'm better now.
What about the shoulder then?
Huh?
The shoulder.
Yeah, my cold, I was, Mucinex and stuff like that, try to get it out of there, but I feel better now. I'm good to go.
Mucinex, NyQuil, good for the shoulder. The Braves have been spending some money this offseason. They signed pitcher Cole Hamels yesterday, but they haven't signed any top free agents, which made us wonder if they are really becoming a contender. Alex Glaze is with our Braves Insider.
Well, it's been a busy offseason for the Braves. They haven't been afraid to spend, and they're adding some key pieces. I'm here with Grant McCauley, 680 The Fin, pre- and post-game show host for the Braves. So, Grant, our Braves expert here. So we're going to play a little game called I Say, You Say. All right? We're going to talk about these things that are going on. So I'll start right here. I'm going to get right to it. I say the Braves signed the wrong Cole. Cole Hamels, nice. I want Garrett Cole. You say what?
Look, the thing is, a lot of teams are going to want Garrett Cole, but the Braves, realistically speaking, I don't think we're going to be in the Derby for a $200+ million pitcher.
For the most part, the Braves have kept that financial flexibility that they have wanted to keep with these one-year deals. Yep. I mean, they're paying a lot of money, but these are just one-year deals. Right. So I want to go into my next question with this. I say the Braves need to give Josh Donaldson that long-term deal that he's been looking for. He deserves it.
I think he does, and the big thing with Josh is, to me, he proved a lot. Once he turned it on, the Braves offense also turned it on with him in the cleanup spot. You have to make that move. I think it's going to be $25 million a year to get you into the conversations with Josh Donaldson. Probably 3 guaranteed years after Mike Moustakas just got 4.
All right, last one for you. I hate to be that guy here, but I'm going to be that guy for a second. I say, given all these great moves that the Braves have made, the expectations are still the same. They have to make it to the NLCS at least.
Yeah.
You say what?
I say yes. I say that they should have made it to the NLCS this year. And I think if you were to go take a poll, not just of fans, but ask every man in that clubhouse what they expected to win that series against the Cardinals. But it just did not happen because baseball's funny like that. You give teams opportunities. A lot of times things go off the script because there is no script.
That's Grant McCauley. Winter meetings right around the corner. Spring training will be here before you know it.
That's why we follow professional wrestling. There is a script. We are 2 days away from the showdown between UGA and LSU. Kirby Smart's been singing the praises of Joe Burrow, the Heisman Trophy winner-elect. He complimented all things that Mr. Burrow does well, and it perfectly coincides with Burrow's offensive plan for the Dogs.
Everything you want a quarterback to be, athletic.
We're going to attack.
Keep his eyes downfield.
We're going to throw the ball down the field.
Poise in the pocket.
Go fast.
He does it with confidence and poise.
You're going to have to take what the defense gives you and march the ball down the field.
They don't call me Mix Master Jeff for nothing. That is it for sports. We'll be right back.
Okay, Canathon is tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
so we hope all of you will turn out and help feed Atlanta's hungry. We'll have showers in the afternoon and evening, so I think we'll be mostly dry for Canathon. We may have a few little showers on Saturday, but we'll be mostly dry, just quite a few clouds, especially later on in the day. And then Sunday looks cooler and damper, kind of a classic wedge pattern that we can get in December. A little bit of light rain on Monday, and then the heavier rain Monday night into Tuesday, and then really cold after that.
They handed out Canathon t-shirts. Are you wearing yours?
Absolutely,
Good.
I am.
I like it.